Why am I shouting?
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, February 13th, 2022. This is your award-winning Gibbo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1425.
This is No Agenda.
Watching the science change and broadcasting live from the heart of the Texas Hill Country here in FEMA Region number 6 in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I admit I was wrong about the duck masks, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Wow, that must have really bothered you. That was, 2 weeks ago?
No, it was 2 shows ago.
2 shows ago, yeah. Well, 2 shows, 2 weeks. They actually sell masks that you put on like a duck, is my understanding.
Yes, they do.
Well, this is not a bad premium idea.
Well, here's the funny thing about, if you just make them yellow.
Right.
That's the mistake they're making.
Yes.
But this mask never existed in N95. It's never existed before in this shape, looking like this.
No, I don't know why that happened.
It's because they're mocking us.
That's probably right on, actually, now I think about it. Hey, I know a great idea. Let's make these idiots look like ducks. Bah!
Yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah, of course. That would be our number one meeting item. All right, today, Curry Dvorak Masking Company. We need a little fun in our lives. I got an idea. What can we do next? What else could we come up with? Seriously, there's got to be
cod pieces that protect you from COVID. The COVID cod piece.
Ooh, all right, right around it. Right, you're coming up with show titles already. COVID cod piece. Speaking of COVID, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of COVID, I have the COVID still.
Yes, I want to also thank Judy Schwartz for sending in this tongue drum. She sent a lot of stuff in. There's 2 people that are sending me these weird instruments. I just want to thank them. Anyway, okay, continue. I'm sorry. Oh, you still have it. I thought you'd be over it by now.
I'd like to give you a brief report. After our show on Sunday, I was, without a doubt, fatigued and fogged.
You were complaining about this near
Thursday.
The end.
I'm sorry, not Sunday. Thursday. Oh no! At the end of Thursday's show, I was spent.
Didn't know it. No one would notice.
At one point during the, I think something like maybe the meetups or something, I actually started speaking Dutch. I don't think you caught it, but I just for no reason Dutch started coming out. Yeah. I mean, and I think
I did not catch that. No.
Well, that's a part of the 2 symptoms that you read about the most is, obviously you're fatigued.
Speaking Dutch is a symptom of COVID?
Yes, speaking in tongues. Speaking in tongues. No, I think it's the fog that people call it the brain fog, which I disagree with as a descriptor of what it is. And I'm pretty in tune with my body, particularly the brain part. And so after the show, I was really, really tired. And then Friday, and then I had a really sweaty night, horrible, like had to change 3 times. Friday, my legs were tired, and this, what people are calling brain fog, had set in. And I want to try and describe it because it's not something I've ever felt before. It's not a fog, because I think with the flu, you can feel foggy, like woolly maybe is a better.
So you don't sound sick again.
But that's me.
I think you're you're acting. And you're proving that you can, okay.
That I'm a great actor.
If you were acting, you'd sound sick. I'm sorry. You're definitely not acting. You're just, it's just the strangest phenomenon. Well, you think you'd be all like this, I was sick as a dog. I sweated so much. The bed was wet. We had to buy a new mattress.
I learned a long time ago in my 40-year broadcast career where I never missed a broadcast that the easiest way to not have that is to just push yourself over it and be happy and glad you got a job. And that makes it sound good. So
okay, I'm sorry. I interrupted the
that's okay.
flow. You were talking about brain fog and you had an example of it.
Well, not an example, but I don't think it's the right descriptor. There's something like imagine your brain frequencies is a spectrum, like an equalizer graph. That's for people who can, and so I'm with everything's popping up and down and the levels are going. Yeah, exactly. It feels like somewhere around 28 kilohertz or something. One of those is not working, or it's fritzy. And because of that, there's certain things. Yeah, now, that was Friday and Saturday. There's certain things just like I can't focus on this one thing. Or here's an example. I was cleaning out Tina was doing the dishes. We're doing the pots and pans, which you don't put in the dishwasher. I just wash them by hand. And we have a drawer for that. And the stuff goes in a certain way. John, I could not figure out the puzzle. And I was like, this is weird. I can't do this. I was like, okay, I give up. So kind of felt the same way. Saturday, Friday night was also a pretty bad night. And I woke up this morning. I really feel good. I do not feel this frizziness. Now I am sneezing a bit and I'm a little nasally. I don't have the pain, the lower back or the torso or the trunk pain, around my lower back and everything. My legs don't feel tired. However, I am still testing positive.
Sorry, what? I missed it.
I'm still testing positive as of 5 minutes before the show.
That's just fragments.
Yes, but there's a huge problem with this. I cannot in any good conscience go to the meetup tomorrow in Nashville if I'm still testing positive.
Yeah, I would think that's what. Yes, I think you're probably right.
But it's gut-wrenching to me because the number of people who are coming. I mean, we've got Mary who's driving across country in her Econoline 350 that she lives in. I mean, we've got people driving from far away to be at this meetup, and I'm really, really bummed about it. It really sucks. This is where you say something compassionate.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it is. And I do want everybody to.
Well, you might be okay by tomorrow.
John, even if you test negative, you're still shedding virus for a few days. And, we have people at the meetup who are vaccinated. I don't want them to get really sick from this thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
These are our people. And you know what? All we need is for someone to find out that I went to the meetup and
publicity.
Look at this a-hole. And then they'll be waiting for me to die of COVID. So I don't want that karma either because that's what they do. Podcaster.
You don't want to be a Rogan.
I mean, as this has not been as severe as anyone made it, I think, or made it out to be for me at least. And I'm a 57-year-old man. I smoke weed. I drink wine. I don't work out excessively, really. I think the blister pack, I think that's what did it. I just all of that stuff. It was, what is it total? This is now the 6th day, so 5 days. I really feel really good today.
Okay, well, it looks like you screwed all these people coming to see you.
Is that supposed to make me feel better somehow?
You said to be sympathetic. I'm sympathetic to them.
Oh,
They're the ones who feel bad.
Dame Jennifer has, because of course we contacted Sir Patrick Coble and Dame Jennifer, and Dame Jennifer is the designated receiver if anyone has stuff that they brought. Lots of people also bring donations on the spot, and she has been designated. She'll do a spreadsheet for us, etc., and she will have a report. Yeah, well, Dame Jennifer, man, come on, she is nice. So I'm very, very sorry for everyone who is going to come to that meetup, and we will reschedule. And I think we're already planning on something in North Carolina in April, which maybe could bring some of the same people back, and we would love to return or go back to Tennessee. Just sucks what it is.
Well, you having this thing now is dangerous for different reasons than you'd think, because they've finally, the NPR is, I guess, the only people I've heard promote this.
Okay.
but they've decided that the last-ditch effort
to
get people to get the vaccine before this is done, which is actually already past due.
Yeah, I agree.
They've come up with some bogus studies that are so transparently wrong that it's laughable, and I think it applies to you, because if any of these studies are true, you're in trouble, but I don't believe a word of it.
Okay.
How about this clip? COVID news studies.
The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs did the study on heart issues. It reports COVID-19 survivors had a 63% higher risk for a heart attack, a 69% higher risk of irregular heartbeats, a 52% higher risk of stroke, and a 72% higher risk of heart failure. This was clearly seen in all ages, no matter what race or gender. The department adds it's even a risk for people who didn't go to the hospital and those with mild symptoms. Another study adds COVID vaccines using mRNA technology don't have any additional short-term side effects in cancer patients.
Whoa! Yeah, I saw this. It's a good clip. I saw the article, and you look at that and you go, "You MRFers, are you kidding me?" I mean, it is such a. First of all, I think it's bull crap. All of a sudden, a new study after 2 years of this thing, and this obviously milder variant would be weird if that's the one that caused all the problems. But it kind of goes hand in hand with what they're saying in the UK about the sports, the soccer players falling down dead on the field. Do you know what they say the reason is?
Oh, I can just imagine.
It is they get startled from the referee whistle.
What?
Yes, I'm not kidding. There's nothing wrong with the vaccines. People they're getting startled by the vaccine, by the ref whistle, and then that all of a sudden jolts them in.
Oh my God!
Mm-hmm.
Well, this happened. This particular report happened after this release of the data that's since been jiggered by the government, by the Defense Department. That database.
Yes,
because the core to it was the 40%, 50%, 3,000%, 2,000% more likely. And so this report follows the same pattern of, you got 75% more likely, 80%, the same kind of thing. So it kind of sounds like the other report. So it kind of like.
So you're saying they had to put this report, or this report was a derivative of the rigging of the DMED from the Department of Defense? Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's obvious because of the timing.
Yeah. They have no shame.
And it does accomplish one thing. And the little bit at the end, you kind of laughed over it, but it was the bogus thing about the mRNA vaccine. It had nothing to do with the rest of it, but they said
it had no side effect.
Listen to the end of it again, because it wasn't about any of this other stuff. But it was associative. It's one of those things where and then the mRNA, blah, blah, blah. But listen to it carefully, because it's got nothing to do with anything.
The department adds it's even a risk for people who didn't go to the hospital and those with mild symptoms. Another study adds COVID vaccines using mRNA technology don't have any additional short-term side effects in cancer patients.
Yeah, it's like a double whammy. They're saying, hey, by the way, if you got a heart problem, that's COVID, and the vaccines don't cause that, and they certainly don't cause any problems if you got cancer. That's what they said.
The giveaway on this report was at the beginning of it, where they say there was no difference between race or gender or age.
Let's listen again to the whole thing.
The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs did the study on heart issues. It reports COVID-19 survivors had a 63% higher risk for a heart attack, a 69% higher risk of irregular heartbeats, a 52% higher risk of stroke, and a 72% higher risk of heart failure. This was clearly seen in all ages, no matter what race or gender. The department adds it's even a risk for people who didn't go to the hospital and those with mild symptoms. Another study adds COVID vaccines using mRNA technology don't have any additional short-term side effects in cancer patients.
I'm glad we listened to that again for a couple of reasons. One, what they're leaving out is the obvious difference between civilians and these numbers. You're in the military. Who the hell knows what's going on there? Huh? But of course, they wouldn't mention that, and it's based on phony. Gosh, it's so obvious that's the phonied up numbers.
Well, you can't. I've never seen a study, and there's plenty of them. We have links to them, and they're passed around, where you have no difference in age, gender, or race. That just never happens. There's always a difference in age, for sure, always.
Yeah.
And there tends to be one with gender, and there tends to be one with the race. There tends to be all of them, not none of them.
Well,
that is bull crap.
Here's what happens. When you're in the military, then if you're a member of the black and brown community, you will not be disproportionately hurt by COVID. Go military. Bullshit. This is bullshit. That is really one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen. And how we're pretty level.
Thank you, NPR.
Yeah, we're pretty level-headed. You know, I saw this article. I mean, I'm not worried about that. That's bull crap. First thing I thought. But imagine people who have a mild case. Oh, for up to a year. Oh, I mean that could give you agita right there.
Yeah, don't let a referee's whistle come by. Drop you on the spot.
So this is all
part of... racists would die, you know, or not racists, I'm sorry, rapists. Women with their whistle, and they carry a whistle.
Oh, yeah.
Did it?
Yeah. The New York Times wrote this morning, yesterday morning, when facts change. One of the few COVID truisms is that policies should change as reality changes. A world without vaccines calls for more restrictions than a world with vaccines. Hold on a second. It
said reality changes?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
They used the word. So reality itself.
Yes. David Leonard in the New York Times.
Reality itself, which is a constant.
Yep. No. It's changing.
Changes.
It's changing.
Okay.
Again, one of the few COVID truisms is that policies should change as reality changes. Beautiful. A world without vaccines calls for more restrictions than a world without vaccines. When cases are surging and hospitals are overwhelmed, as was the case last month, more restrictions make sense. If hospitalizations and deaths keep falling, continued steps towards normalcy will make sense. We have to be able to act differently when the situation changes. It's really a conversation. The answer will not spring forth from science. What?
It's a conversation now?
Yeah, and science will not, we don't have to follow the science because the answer doesn't spring forth from science. What kind of English is that?
The conversation.
What kind of English is that anyway? The answer will not spring forth from science.
Oh, if the editor should have caught that. You can't put something like that in the New York Times.
Isn't that kind of lame?
Shall spring forth. Ahead we go.
Yeah, science has changed, everybody. Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so we can talk about, why don't you, whatever you have on COVID, maybe we should just do that.
I got a couple. I don't have a lot, but I have, let's just play this. This is another dumb report on reinfections.
We're moving into the third year of the pandemic, and a lot of people have now had COVID-19. In fact, scientists estimate the vast majority of Americans have been infected at some point. By the end of this month, it might be 80% of us at one time or another who have been infected. So here's a question. If most of us have been infected or vaccinated and infected, can we just return to normal now? Well, maybe not, but we've been asking NPR Global Health correspondent Michaeline Duclef to figure out what this does mean. Hey there, Michaeline.
Hi, Steve.
Where does that 80% figure come from?
You know, it's hard to know exactly the percentage because many COVID cases go undetected. And as we'll learn, there can be reinfections. But roughly, researchers at Georgia Tech estimate that before Omicron, about 40% of Americans had been infected. And researchers at the University of Washington predict about 40% of Americans will catch Omicron.
So 40% plus 40%, that's 80%. That's most of us. Does that mean that most people, whether they're vaccinated or not, have some protection from the disease?
Yes. So they are protected in a particular way. So what scientists are beginning to realize is having a symptomatic infection typically triggers a strong immune response and gives good protection against severe disease in future surges. Leif Aboradad has been researching this topic for over a year. He's an epidemiologist at Weill Cornell Medicine, Qatar. And in a recent study, he measured a person's risk of getting hospitalized during their second infection compared to their first.
Those who get reinfected had 90% lower chance of getting hospitalized than those who had a primary infection.
And he says there's growing evidence that this protection lasts quite a long time, perhaps a few years.
Wow, so you have a tiny fraction of the odds of going to the hospital with a serious illness if you catch it again.
Yes, it's quite extraordinary. And it means that over time, COVID will be less of a problem for society as a whole.
It's quite extraordinary what we've learned. When you have natural infection, you probably won't get it again. Whoa, science. What is wrong with these people? Do they hear themselves?
They obviously don't.
I have a data point I forgot to mention.
Yeah?
So the keeper, we're not quarantining. We're not kissing and hugging, but we're not quarantining. We sleep in the same bed. She is fine. And the data point is, I just have a data point as you and I have been trying to figure out what is the difference, what are you doing, what is she doing, etc. Here's the only thing that I typically take every day potassium. And the potassium that I have is a liquid form in a dropper, and you put it in your glass of water, and it tastes like ass. I mean, it's total sweat sock sap, okay? It's horrible. So sometimes I just stop taking it.
So why do you take it?
Well, sometimes I stop taking it because I'm like, gag, I don't want to I'll take it tomorrow. I hadn't taken it for a week, and then I got the COVID. Tina eats 2 bananas a day. I'm just saying it could be a data point. It could be the potassium.
I don't take potassium at all.
No, but it's a data point for her. You don't get out. That's why you're not infected. You're
exactly right.
You're a hermit.
I stay home.
But don't worry, we've got an Omicron vaccine, a special vaccine on the way. And how do we know this? The CEO of Pfizer told us. He said something interesting, though.
What information are you expecting to get over the next couple weeks, both from within, Pfizer and BioNTech and also from around the world? We saw the South Africa data last night. We know that academic labs everywhere are working on this. How will you make that decision about whether those 3 doses are enough, or if you do need to switch to that Omicron specific vaccine, which we understand you started working on already and could have by March?
Yes. The data that we received are data that we got from what we call pseudovirus. So it's not the real virus. It is a virus that we have constructed in our labs, and it is identical with the Omicron virus. This is a very well-known study.
Okay, so they created this with the pseudovirus. Why would he even mention that? I mean, is that important for us to know, or is there a reason why they can't do it with the actual Omicron virus variant?
Well, you've asked the question I can't answer or even come close to figuring it out.
That's why I thought it was so weird. I mean, does this thing really exist, or you can't get a culture? You can't isolate it? So you've created something in the lab that's like it? This has been the problem all along, looking back on the vaccines. It's always been, this variant's worse, and we know because we've tested it in the lab. Or more transmissible in the lab. All of this stuff has been in the lab.
I don't know. Maybe we got a virologist out there, somebody. We have a lot of lab workers. Some might come up with an answer, or maybe put it in there to show off to his compadres that they could even do something like he described. That might be a hot thing, They did that. Oh, that's impossible. I don't know.
Did you and Horowitz short Pfizer and Moderna at the top there? Did you guys talk about that at all?
You wish.
This is their stock prices are definitely going down, and there's this thing going. And I'm just telling you because you're the guy that knows about this stuff. There's this rumor, or it's presented as fact for the past 3 days, and it goes like this: Moderna CEO deletes his Twitter after dumping $400 million of stock. Now, his Twitter has been deleted, but there's no evidence he dumped $400 million worth of stock. That would, I think, show up in a real financial publication.
It'll show up. There's probably a couple dozen people that follow insider trading to the T. You have to file.
Yeah, of course you do.
With the SEC when you do that, if you're a director of any company. and you sell your own stock or buy your own stock for that matter, or even when you flip an option.
Yeah,
it has to all be recorded. That's on record, and it's very easy to follow. So that unless it's listed somewhere, it's bullcrap.
Now, it is true that the Moderna CEO...
I'll tell you this, Musk dumped a lot of SpaceX and Tesla.
But that was a month ago.
It's been a while back.
Yeah.
But, I mean, but most people, when they're selling their stock, this is like a rule for people who want to base trading on insiders. You can trust to buy, but you can't trust to sell, because most people doing the selling, they just need some, they want to get some cash.
Right. Although I remember Ron Bloom bought stock in Think New Ideas, the company that we took public, and he got in real trouble for it with the SEC, even though he bought stock. And I don't know exactly if it was a filing issue, but it
tends to be there's these quiet periods where you can buy stock and you can't buy stock, and then you have to file.
Yeah,
and if there's something going on, like within a few days of the earnings report or something, you have to do. There's rules for when you can buy, and there's rules for when you can sell.
Yeah, I just said that because when there's buying, then that can mean certain things too. And it is
usually it means something
good is happening. Yeah, certain good's happening.
Usually, unless the guy's
But anyway,
a maniac.
I just wanted to tell all of our producers who kept insisting that this was true. Said, I'm sorry, it's just not. And I say, please send me a link to a source, and they'd send me like the Moderna stock chart. Look, it's down. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
oh,
there you go. How about it's a shit product? How about that?
My advice to all these people: stay out of the market
if you don't know what you're doing. Also, I realized
take your money.
There's this ongoing controversy over Bob Saget's death. And now the autopsy report shows multiple. So initially, of course, it's got to be the vax, the booster, blah, blah, blah. And now there's this crazy autopsy report that shows he had multiple fractures, as if someone beat him with a baseball bat in the head. And so now there's just theory after theory after theory going around. Like, why would he get beaten up like that and then go to bed with and then, of course, he died of a brain hemorrhage. And I have a very simple answer. It's one of the number one causes of death in the entire world. It happens all the time, sadly. People slip in the bathroom. Guarantee you that's what happened. He slipped, he hit his head, maybe he slipped in the tub, hit his head a couple times, went, oh, crap, and then went to bed. Don't you think?
Could be.
I think that's a little more viable than, gangs of MS-13.
I don't know how Saget became such a big focus, but...
Well, because he's a very loved man.
I guess.
No. I mean, from Full House, yeah. My daughter grew up with him.
Oh, yeah. See, I never saw any of that stuff. Saget to me was always just a random stand-up and a guy who was the host of Funniest Home Videos for a while.
Yes, I know.
And he didn't like doing that show. I don't know how much he must have been making money hand over fist.
Oh, my God. A lot of money. Yeah. But that's why he was on his comedy tour. Anyway, there's a pretty good analysis of the UK government data of fully vaccinated Britons. And they did a pretty good job of charting everything out. And the headline they make out of it, here we go. The latest UK Health Security Agency vaccine surveillance report figures show that boosters massively accelerate immune system degradation, and that most triple or double vaccinated people in the United Kingdom may develop a new form of COVID-19 vaccine-induced acquired immunodeficiency syndrome by the end of February 2022.
Oh God! What a horrible thing to read about if you happen to be boosted.
Yes, and then and the page will be in the show notes, and you look at the charts. They have the data. They have the source to the data. I mean, they're calling it what did I just call it? I want to get it right. The immunodeficiency. Here it is. Vaccine-induced acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which, yes, is what AIDS also is. And the reason why this is just creepier is when you see Prince Harry coming out. Prince Harry This is in The Guardian.
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, everyone's favorite. Prince Harry says, get tested for HIV to protect others in the same way as for COVID.
If you got HIV from the shot, that's not transmissible.
Well, they're forgetting all of the things we learned about HIV. Everything. Now, I've always questioned whether HIV is transmissible the way they say it is, or, there's lots of questions. That was a whole nother topic, HIV,
Yeah,
AIDS.
we're not going.
We're not going to go in there.
We're not going into that.
But that is very remarkable. Again, all of a sudden, everything's about AIDS. Oh, AIDS everywhere. What's that? AIDS back? Well, AIDS back in the news. Now there's good news in the UK. They have an entire fund for you if you were damaged by vaccination. And just because I have the details, I'd like you to know what in the UK you can get, which is not in the United States. If you're severely disabled as a result of a vaccination against certain diseases, okay, so I don't know if that includes COVID, you can get a one-off tax-free payment of £120,000. This is called a vaccine damage payment. That's a lot of money. I mean, not if you're permanently disabled.
No, but it's at least better than
something.
poking an eye with a sharp stick.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I have one last clip on COVID. I don't have a lot of COVID today.
Yeah, I have a couple.
You have all the COVID.
I got the COVIDs.
So let's go with this last one, which is the admission of guilt clip.
And maybe they've been vaccinated and infected. Does that mean they won't get COVID again?
That was the hope, right? That once we're all vaccinated and had a bout of COVID, we wouldn't catch COVID again. But Jeffrey Townsend at Yale University says with this virus, that's not going to happen.
Yes, reinfections are possible. In fact, they're pretty much inevitable. At least all the evidence that we have now says that's true.
Some of that evidence comes from Townsend and his colleagues studying the other coronaviruses, which are related to SARS-CoV-2 but are different. These viruses cause the common cold.
They all infect and reinfect on a several year time scale, and there's no reason to expect something different from this virus.
He says the risk of reinfection is very low for about 3 to 6 months right after you're sick, but then the risk grows, and many people will be reinfected every year or two.
Okay, there's a subtle change in language which I've noticed, and I heard it in one of our earlier clips. Omicron is not called a variant. It's called a virus.
It's Omicron.
Omicron. They don't call it a variant anymore. They're saying this virus. We heard the other clips we played before this. I was talking about, not about the variant. No, this virus. The Pfizer CEO, this virus. Not this variant, this virus. How does that work?
Well, this is obviously part of the withdrawal.
Yeah, exactly.
But what does it accomplish? Does it try to take out of the minds of the listeners that these variants are like these nasty little beings that are going to come at us every which way? Or
how about this? It's not COVID. It's a virus.
Well, the thing is about the origins of Omicron is not the same. It doesn't come from the same stem, from the same branches of the other variants. It looks like a standalone.
Yeah. So,
we're just being jacked around, let's face it. And this last clip I played, which is the one that I consider to be a whopper clip, which means what? If you listen to it carefully, she says, you get shot, you can get 1 million vaccines, you can get the disease over and over again. Nothing helps.
Let's listen to it one more time then.
And maybe they've been vaccinated and infected. Does that mean they won't get COVID again?
That was the hope, right? That once we're all vaccinated and had a bout of COVID, we wouldn't catch COVID again.
Is this NPR, John?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this has got to stop. Vaccination, COVID.
And maybe they've been vaccinated and infected. Does that mean they won't get COVID again?
That was the hope, right? That once we're all vaccinated and had a bout of COVID, we wouldn't catch COVID again. But Jeffrey Townsend...
Thanks for mentioning it. Now I can't stop hearing it.
We're going to let's do it one more time.
Good, and maybe they've been vaccinated and infected. Does that mean they won't get COVID again?
Here we go.
That was the hope, right? That once we're all vaccinated and had a bout of COVID, we wouldn't catch COVID again. But Jeffrey Townsend at Yale University says with this virus, that's not going to happen.
Yes, reinfections are possible. In fact, they're pretty much inevitable. At least all the evidence that we have now says that's true.
Some of that evidence comes from Townsend and his colleagues studying the other coronaviruses, which are related to SARS-CoV-2 but are different. These viruses cause the common cold.
They all infect and reinfect on a several year time scale, and there's no reason to expect something different from this virus.
He says the risk of reinfection is very low for about 3 to 6 months right after you're sick, but then the risk grows, and many people will be reinfected every year or two.
They're talking about the common flu.
No, they're talking about the common cold.
Common cold, I'm sorry, coronavirus, yeah.
But if you remember 2 years ago, we were talking about the fact that the coronavirus was always said to be a virus that had there was no way of developing a vaccine for it. It was not possible because of its idiosyncrasies. Mm-hmm. And that's what that was the litany. And so then they come up with this mRNA and this other idea, the vector vaccine from J&J. And it turns out that the original thought was correct. None of this stuff works. It's bull crap.
Oh, and interestingly, Johnson & Johnson just announced they have stopped production of its COVID vaccine. What up with that?
I didn't hear this.
Let me see. Let me reread carefully.
No, I'm sure you got it, but it's kind of a shocker. How come that's not front page news?
Well, let me see. Here is Johnson & Johnson has reportedly stopped the production of its single-dose COVID-19 vaccine. And there's a link to the... Okay, here it is. New York Times. Is that good enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay. J&J pauses production of its COVID vaccine despite persistent need. Company says it still has 1 million doses in inventory. That means they're going to write that off. It's done. No one wants it or something. From what I understand...
No, you nailed it.
Write off?
They have 1 million in inventory. They stop production because it's just they're just done. It's over. No one's lining up for it.
Yeah.
They got 1 million in inventory. It means they can't unload it.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
Yeah, it's over. This whole thing is done. It's a done deal.
Yet despite that, T-Mobile employees will be fired if they are unvaccinated by April 2nd, by the end of February, if they have not had at least, this is the same thing they did to Mo, not that Mo worked for T-Mobile, but the same basic concept. You will be put on leave, unpaid leave, so you can think about it. And then if you're not vaccinated by April 2nd, then you're fired. Now, here's what's interesting. We have brought this up, and pretty quickly, I started to get a lot of emails, and well-intended people. Dude, stop giving your money to those a-holes. Go to Patriot Mobile. and I know the industry a little bit. So let me just tell you, for those of you who think you're doing everybody a solid by going to Patriot Mobile, which I saw being promoted by Don Jr., which always gives me pause. Patriot Mobile runs on Sprint's network, which is owned by T-Mobile, which is owned by Deutsche Telekom, etc. So Patriot Mobile, sorry, it's not very patriotic to kind of obfuscate that obvious point. Unless you can see some benefit to doing that, John.
Go to AT&T.
AT&T is doing the same. All the companies are doing the same to their employees. As we learned, that's because insurance companies are forcing them into it. I don't have proof, but no,
it's probably, yeah. Well, we should track down the genesis and slam. In other words, if people want you to do something like Patriot Mobile, why don't you spend your time tracking down the genesis of why this is happening in the first place to the T-Mobile employees, and let's bust their balls Let's find out who they are. It's like you said, it's probably an insurance company or somebody like that. And let's go after them instead of after T-Mobile is just trying to stay in business, the way I see it.
Yeah, I get pushback on this. Well, it's the operator, it's not the network. I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't know. It's the same thing. Everything's tied together. It's all crap, a-holes. Hey, here's something. Going back to our bad shit can happen if you're vaccinated. Yeah, no, it's no causation, but certainly correlation.
At least 11 motorcycle crashes have occurred here in Austin within the last 72 hours. Of these, almost all resulted in serious injuries. At least 4 were fatal.
That's odd. 11 motorcycle accidents in Austin over the weekend?
This is like that Navy pilot who crashed on the deck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are these accidents?
No proof that he said damn vaccine, but
no. I watched the video and I listened to the audio. I couldn't really hear him say it. So, anyway, we do have a couple quick updates to just share with everybody on the COVID vaccine front.
Tonight, as COVID restrictions loosen across the country, parents of America's youngest children grappling with the news that vaccines for children 6 months to under 5 have been put on hold. Pfizer waiting for more trial data, delaying its request for FDA authorization of its vaccine for that age group for a few more months.
I think the more vaccines for me, the better. But at the same time,
wait a few more
months, if it's for safety, I think it's a really good thing.
Pediatricians, including those at Golden Gate Pediatrics outside San Francisco, now telling parents to be patient.
They understand, but, I think there's a bit of a letdown, but overall, it's better to get it right.
And if anything, this should add some trust to the general public about how thoroughly the FDA looks at all data with respect to safety and efficacy.
Hey, I'm noticing something else is going on with our mainstream media. I'm hearing a lot of up-talking and gay up-talking. Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
It's more prevalent than ever. Not that I have a problem with it.
I agree with that because I've been noticing it for a couple of years.
Yeah, but this is ABC. Okay, well, it just seems okay. I'm noticing it because I'm less sensitive to it, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly it. No, it's because you got the brain fog.
Let's see what CDC says.
So, on the one hand, the number of cases continues to go down, which is great. On the other, 99% of the country has high.
This voice that you're playing now is the one that's, I think, is a newer voice, and this is the one you were bitching about a minute ago with that woman who said vaccines. This is the voice that's really getting on my nerves. This perky bullcrap voice.
Yes. Oh, man, I have lots of that for you.
So, on the one hand, the number of cases continues to go down, which is great. On the other, 99.
It's like, this is CBS Weekend, so it's kind of news. But isn't that kind of editorializing in a newscast, isn't that a little weird? Or is that not, let's put it this way, not what you'd expect from the Tiffany News Network when she says, oh, this is great. You know what I mean?
It should be illegal.
Who is she to determine if it's great? Is she a medical expert? Yeah.
So, on the one hand, the number of cases continues to go down, which is great. On the other, 99% of the country still has high transmission rates. So, some states are already loosening restrictions, but the CDC is not budging on their recommendations. What should someone do if their state leaders are telling them something different than this?
What? Did she say 99% of the nation has high transmission rates?
Some states are.
Let's listen again.
9% of.
Here we go.
Continues to go down, which is great. On the other, 99% of the country still has high transmission rates. So.
99% of the country. So what's that 1%? Do you think?
Well, I don't care about that. What is she talking about? I haven't got a high transmission rate. Tina doesn't have. I mean, that's out of the 3 people we know.
Maybe she's just talking about states. She's just looking at
99% of the. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it's very poorly put.
Hello, CBS.
Other 99% of the country still has high transmission rates. So some states are already loosening restrictions, but the CDC is not budging on their recommendations. What should someone do if their state leaders are telling them something different than the CDC?
Well, hold on, stop again. Let's go back and think of this math. 99% of the states. Well, there's how many states are there? 50?
Mm-hmm.
How do you have 99% of 50?
That's a good one. It would have to be 98% if you had a state that was doing better. Am I saying that right?
I'm not even sure it's 98. It might even be.
If every state is part of 100, then 100 each state would be 2%.
Yeah, okay.
Just simple. That's COVID fog,
yes,
brother.
That would be right.
COVID
and so
fog.
99. You can't have 99%. It's not possible. Unless you split a state in half and count it as a half a state.
Well, maybe Austin is 1% by itself or something. Yeah.
No, the reason. No, I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Just throwing numbers out.
That's right. It's bullshit.
What should someone do if their state leaders are telling them something different than the CDC?
Well, the key thing now is not just transmission rate, it's hospitalization rate. And so when there is adequate space in the hospital, when we have oral drugs like the Pfizer drug and the monoclonal antibodies that work, we can lower mask mandates and go back to a new normal. The key is it's different all across the country, depending on what city you live in. But transmission rates are not the only metric now.
Oh, yes. It's not the only metric now. Okay. So first, he said very specifically, monoclonal antibodies that work. I don't know if you heard that.
No, I did. It was catchy.
The reason for that is, do I have this clip? I thought I had a clip about it. Yes, this is the reason for that.
And with there's news on therapeutics tonight to fight COVID, the FDA authorizing a new monoclonal antibody treatment from Eli Lilly that has shown promising results in fighting Omicron. 2 monoclonal antibody treatments previously that were doing well against the Delta variant shown not to be as effective against Omicron. That Eli Lilly therapy, we're told, will be given intravenously to infected patients at high risk of severe illness. Whit?
Another tool in the battle against the virus, Phil. Thank you.
He was talking about Phil when he said another tool. That's a different story. Hey, it looks like Eli Lilly was tossed a bone. Hey,
yes,
hey, guys.
Like.
Hey, guys. Come on, man, guys.
What about us?
Come on, you trying to screw us, man? Come on, bro. Next time it'll be something we got. We're gonna let you in. All right, do a monoclonal antibody. Okay, thanks. We'll promote it right away.
Yeah, but we had competition. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of them. We just take them off the market.
Okay,
no problem.
So it's no longer just transmissibility. How do they measure that? Yeah, don't answer that. There's one other important metric that will determine what we do. Any clues, any idea, any thoughts what that metric will be?
Bone structure?
Given how many states are now doing their own thing, do you think that...
another fine CBS term, ladies and gentlemen.
Doing their own thing, man.
Hey, this is going back to the, groovy. Do your own thing, man.
Do your own thing.
Do your own thing. What color's your parachute?
Given how many states are now doing their own thing, do you think that puts pressure on the CDC to change federal guidelines at all?
Yeah, it's difficult at the CDC because there's not going to be one size fits all. What the CDC needs to do is set parameters. If you have this many hospital beds vacant, then it's okay to go to these restrictions. And if case numbers are X, then you can go to Y. So it's going to be different depending on where you live. And it's not going to be one size fits all from the CDC.
There you go. It's about the hospitals. Okay, got it. Now that you've depleted your hospital systems of staff, now you want to punish us by wearing a face diaper just to make you happy? Come on. What a bunch of dicks. Ugh. So this is happening everywhere. The backpedaling is in place. They are rolling out their health professionals in every state to let everybody know that the science has changed. The science has changed. And
reality's changed.
Reality itself has changed. Thank you. The New York Times told me so. And nowhere was this better shown that they're bringing out the team that is supposed to break the news. So, I think we've seen resignations of several top state health medical officers.
They've been drummed out.
Yes, maybe. So they have to bring in the second stringers off the bench to let everybody know and kind of bring this message. Yeah, the message is we're doing okay, but we have to be careful of the hospitals. And man, the woman they had do this in Illinois, Dr. Emily Landon, and she's reading this from a script. I think this takes the cake on her speech patterns that make us chuckle.
Make no mistake. Illinois, today is not the day to stop the mask mandate. And that's why it's not happening today. There are still way too many cases, but things are changing quickly. They're improving. Many have asked for a metric or a number that will guide the rules and regulations, but each wave of this pandemic has had different characteristics, different behavior, and no single metric has been able to reliably predict the outcomes and the trajectory of each of the variants.
Holy crap, do you hear this reversal? We have no metrics. We have no metrics. We haven't got no metrics.
Smart physicians, scientists, epidemiologists, and public health officials are going to disagree about which metric to use and the exact date to repeal mandates and rules. This kind of discourse is good. It shows that we have a diverse community of experts that are considering all the angles.
Oh, Ma, now we're considering all the angles.
And the one thing that we all agree on is the need to aggressively respond to new threats on the horizon with precautionary measures. And then once our modelers and epidemiologists are able to reliably predict a trajectory, we have to begin then to shape a strategy for undoing some of those mitigations and mandates. Preparing to repeal statewide masking mandates at the end of the month is aggressive and optimistic, but it's also reasonable.
Wait a minute. We're bringing in reason? What happened to the science?
But it's also reasonable. This does not mean that no one needs to wear a mask anymore. It's an acknowledgement that cases have fallen to an acceptable or manageable level. Hospitals can handle the sick. Businesses are likely to be able to stay open. The cushion of immunity from just so many Omicron cases will help shield us from the exponential threat that is so threatening in the short term. Cases will still happen. Outbreaks will probably still happen. Of course, it helps to have everyone masked. But when cases are low, the likelihood of encountering someone with COVID is also low, making universal masking mandates less impactful.
I think that the presentation doesn't work without seeing the video. You don't get the full idiocy of this woman gesturing like she's talking to a class of kindergartners. But that's it.
Well, there's a little bit at the beginning. It sounded pretty good. You could see that she was like, animated. It sounded like Churchill.
Yes,
a little bit. She's just lecturing, It's like these health department people are just.
Yes, go ahead, say it.
Link in the whole scheme.
Go say it, man. Come on, say it.
The rat poop inspectors are a weak link in this whole thing, and this whole.
What?
Honk.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was doing. I screwed it up. COVID fog. Yeah, honk, honk. Should we talk about truckers?
First, before we talk about them, let's play a kind of a supercut that I stole from the people that steal from us.
Fox?
Yeah. And this is just people making comments on MSNBC and CNN only about the truckers, and they by the way, it should be pointed out that the MSNBC and CNN folk, they all hate the truckers, and they think they're a bunch of losers, and they're misogynists, and they're terrible people. And this is a classic elites frowning upon the working class.
Some of the organizers of this protest, which, as I mentioned, started more than a week ago, they do want to overthrow the government.
Canadian officials calling the situation a, quote, nationwide insurrection.
The police chief says COVID protests are a, quote, nationwide insurrection driven by madness.
A nationwide insurrection driven by madness.
I mean, just think of the language. I know it sounds familiar to you, right? A threat to democracy, an insurrection, sedition.
The police say that they are under-resourced and they are overwhelmed. They have said that this city is under siege.
It's not just truckers. There's a lot of, I've heard there's QAnon supporters in the crowd.
Residents that I have spoken to who say they feel terrorized, intimidated.
It's a cult.
Yeah. I love the QAnon bit from that turd woman.
Yeah.
That wasn't Katie. Was that Katie or was that
Katie Turd?
Was it Turd?
Yeah.
It wasn't the other one, the horrible woman, I forget her name now. Yeah. Horrible. There was this, just to give you an idea, the people who hate the working middle class.
Yes, this is the theme of yours for the last few shows, and I think it's a good one.
Yeah, and it's obvious that this is going on.
Bearing fruit.
So there was this article in The Atlantic titled, "When the Trucker Convoy Came for Me."
What?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a takeoff on the Jew thing. You know, Jews, they came for the, and they came for the, and they came for the, first they came for the Jews, and they came for the liberals, and they came for and then they came for me.
Stephen Marche, M-A-R-C-H-E, or Marche. As a writer, I've explored political rage at a distance. The anti-vax trucker convoy brought it up close and personal.
Oh, they starts right away with a
pejorative.
Well, not only that, but a lie. They're not an anti-vax convoy. They're an anti-mandate convoy. There is a difference, especially if we consider the fact and we believe the fact that 90% of them are already vaxxed.
Mm-hmm.
So that starts off. So you start your premise. This is the way you do this kind of thing. By just for writers out there who want to learn little tricks. Is if you want it. This is like getting suckered by a pathological liar. You got to start early. So you start with the lie right at the beginning and just let that seed into the whole piece. But the piece is based on a lie. Good.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on here. I'll just pick a couple sentences from it. The truckers matter principally as an example of an American political proxy conflict spilling over our border, and as a harbinger of more such conflicts. The Ottawa police chief has declared that a sizable element from the U.S. has been involved in fundraising and organizing. Yes, so he immediately goes to Trump right away. Going to Trump, it's MAGA, he doesn't mention QAnon, and then, of course he...
By the way, let me stop you again. This is already turning... I haven't seen this piece. I'm glad. This is turning... This is already... I keep reading and I'll think of it again.
The truckers disgust me because they believe lies and want to force their...
that didn't take long.
Can I finish the sentence?
This guy is insulting the integrity of these truckers, and to even suggest that has anything to do with the wimpy Americans who haven't done jack. And it's not just a Canadian thing from the get-go, because it's a fact. Our association is maybe after it began and they got jacked up down, they're all jacked into the Ottawa area. We started giving them money through GoFundMe and the other operation, which has been sidetracked.
Give, send, go. Also,
it doesn't mean it was American sponsored. It just means, oh my God, we haven't got we haven't got the balls of the Canadians to do this ourselves, so let's give them some money. He doesn't look at it from that perspective.
And nowhere does he say, although I really appreciated them when they were first responders and brought me my food during the lockdowns and the previous 24 months, or comma, anything would have sufficed. None of that's in there. The truckers disgust me. I have to add emphasis. It's not.
Is that in there?
Yes, it says it right here.
He says the truckers disgust him?
Yeah, let me finish this one paragraph.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The truckers disgust me because they believe lies and want to force their lies on the rest of the country. They disgust me because they are not playing by the rules and represent a threat to decent, orderly citizens. If I'm being honest, in some part of my Canadian soul, they disgust me because they're making a scene. Ultimately, they disgust me because they are so disgusted, and their anger and loathing have now provoked a mirroring anger and loathing in myself. Care to analyze that, Dr. Dvorak?
I have no idea what he's trying to do there.
Well, I'll continue. For the first time, I felt political rage. A sharp rise in testosterone, blinding and stupefying and violent. I am ashamed to have felt it.
Hold on a second. So he's got something against testosterone itself?
Bear with me. I'll start over with that sentence.
You know what? Hey, buddy, just cut your nuts off. You'll be fine.
For the first time, I felt political rage. A sharp rise in testosterone. Blinding and stupefying and violent. I am ashamed to have felt it. Clearly, men should not be in power. Our hormones make us too unreliable. Testosterone is a hell of a drug. On my way home, I saw stragglers from the convoy lining up outside the Japanese Cheesecake Bakery and the pot shops that have come to dominate Toronto's urban landscape. I wanted them gone. This was not a healthy desire. The desire is to punish, which is the dominant motive of both the left and the right in the United States. It's fundamentally stupid. I hoped we could have avoided it in Canada. Dude, this guy is angry about feeling testosterone.
This guy's off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
He should check into a clinic. No, seriously.
Hey, maybe he had a vasectomy.
Well, then, no.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, he sounds like a...
I don't know why I did that, but...
No, that's good. You should do it throughout the show.
Okay, then, let's see, where I had this thing
That's
here.
really pathetic. That the fact that even got published.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I mean, so you got to consider the editor here. And the publisher, who is, Jobs, the accidental billionaire.
Yeah.
It's like, that should not have been published.
Well, I think that she probably signed off on it personally. Hey, another man who hates being a man. It's good. Publish that guy right away. Front page. Push him to the top. Put him in the algo. That's a lot happening this weekend. CBS noticed.
Canada's horn-hawking protesters have led to copycat demonstrations in France. Today in Paris, police fired tear gas against people who defied orders to leave and told them to stop disrupting traffic near the Arc de Triomphe. Some 500 vehicles were stopped at checkpoints trying to enter the French capital.
Yeah, she doesn't mention Vienna or Berlin or Amsterdam or Madrid or, there was a protest in Australia, Canberra, I think. Oh yeah, this is happening, and it does appear to be a trucker type thing. I love the trucker idea. I read about a military strategy, which is I think is like the sunken boat strategy or something. If you want to mess with your enemy, then you sink a couple of big ships right in front of their harbor.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what this is. And these trucks are ships.
Sink your own ships.
Yeah, it's a real problem. That's a real problem. Here's a report.
Well, the amount of money that is being jacked around with off that bridge out to Windsor, is huge, and the fact that Biden is you go crack down. All these people want to crack down. You can't do it with these truckers. And the tow truck companies have already come out and said in many of these reports,
not going to support. No,
I'm not going to. You guys want to tow them off? You can call it a different company. You call a different company. Nah, those trucks are heavy. They're going to be. I'm not going to do it. What's in it for me? And so, besides being dangerous, and Biden should call Trudeau and say, "Hey, put a stop to this so we can get our economy. But this is not good for the trade between our two countries. Just take care of it instead of you're doing the right thing. Don't put up with their crap," which is what he essentially said. Not with that voice because he can't.
Right,
he can't do that voice.
Well, Viva Fry, our no agenda boots on the ground, buddy.
You see him, he gave the bums a rush to that person after they showed this No Agenda T-shirt.
What do you mean, the bums rush?
Yeah, okay, and see ya, bye.
Yeah,
can you, the bums rush.
Can you turn down 1/2 dB?
Okay.
Because when you get excited,
I'm yelling. I'm yelling.
There, you're good now. Perfect. Don't touch it.
Why am I shouting?
We all wonder.
I'm all jacked up.
But we like Viva Frei. He's a good dude. And he's been doing...
He just looks very pleasant.
Credible. He looks pleasant. He's the guy like, I want to believe this guy. This guy, and he has been around.
Smile on his face, perpetual smile on his face. And
we've
then he can look serious for a split second.
And it's not like he's new on the scene. The guy's been around, so there's reason for people to trust him. And he, in a very short clip, he said, hey, I know how this is going to end because we determined on Thursday, really it's all bad outcomes for Trudeau, unless he says, just stop the mandates, which he can't do because he just can't. He's not going to. That's obvious. Beating their brains in, that doesn't seem to be happening. They're getting a little antsy and they're showing a little bit of force. Just letting it sit and play out, they know that's not going to work. Now, Viva Frei, I think, has the right solution.
My prediction is that the mandates will be slowly dropped province by province. But what they're going to do, they're going to pressure their political appointee medical experts to recommend. It's going to be the wink of an eye. Recommend it so that when we do it, it's not because we're listening to the truckers, it's because we're listening to the science.
The science has changed. I think he's right. That's the way for them to do it. The science.
Of course, that's the way you do it.
The science has changed.
Don't listen to the truckers.
No.
Next tonight, we move on to that tense standoff at the U.S.-Canadian border. It appears to be coming to an end. Trucks that had been blocking the Ambassador Bridge, a vital thoroughfare between the two countries, being removed. Police facing off with hundreds of protesters remaining behind. The bridge still closed. Those protests against COVID restrictions spilling overseas now, including Paris. Police using tear gas there to disperse demonstrators.
Now, I don't know if that's true. It doesn't seem like the bridge is being cleared out. Is this just a hopeful report from ABC?
I think they just given a script and they read it. I don't know I didn't see it either. I mean, there's a lot of streamers out there that are showing it. I didn't see any evidence of anything changing that much.
No. I'm not quite sure what they were talking about. There is an analog to this. Yes, we have yet another one. Not from 1919 this time.
And by the way, this back to that last clip.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like you point out in the other clip, he specifically said Paris and never mentioned worldwide, which is what's really going on.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the reason for that is from a deconstructed point of view. We always think of Paris as a place, or Paris or France in general, where they have strikes all the time.
Right.
They strike all the time there. That doesn't mean anything.
Right. Don't say anything about Berlin.
No, don't mention where they never strike. Not like that.
Yeah.
Or Madrid or where it is in Australia and every place else. No, just because the French are notorious, and everyone. I've got stuck there once because of a strike. And it's just they're always striking.
Yes.
So it's no big deal.
I was flying and I had to divert because the air traffic control just went on strike. Yes. Like, you go land somewhere else. What? Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
At 10 p.m. on December 3rd, 1973, who doesn't remember? A 37-year-old trucker from Overland Park, Kansas, named J.W. Edwards stopped his rig suddenly in the middle of Interstate I-80 near Blakesley, Pennsylvania, and picked up his CB radio microphone. The insurrection he was about to start using his now famous handle, River Rat, would give America's independent truckers their first national voice, along the way elevate them to folk hero status. Now, these guys, they blocked a bridge, I think, for 11 days. This was back because of the price of oil. During the OPEC oil crisis. And they were heralded as heroes at the time. Do you remember anything? I mean, I was definitely too young to remember.
I remember the oil crisis. I do not remember this episode, A, and B, I don't remember anyone hailing them as heroes. And I doubt that they would at the time. They probably would after the fact, which may happen with these truckers in Canada, too.
Possible.
All these guys are the greatest.
Yeah, it's possible.
I think maybe that was just a reverse look at history.
Yeah, Okay. I got one last report.
Breaking down the border blockade. With Canadian police slowly moving in, anti-vaccine mandate protesters started clearing out Saturday, blasting their horns on the way. Angry stragglers stayed behind, confronting police.
Who are you protecting? We're just as passionate about our Bill of Rights and in this country as you are about yours.
The law enforcement action follows a court order for protesters to move away from the Ambassador Bridge. The key border crossing carries 10,000 commercial vehicles a day between the U.S. and Canada, transporting about $325 million worth of goods. The now 6-day blockade has disrupted auto plants in Canada and several states. Analysts estimate it's cost car makers $700 million and counting.
So they have not caused mass outages just yet, but I think we're on the brink of them having that effect.
This is the third weekend of protests that began with a cross-country trucker convoy rolling into Canada's capital, Ottawa, bolstered by anti-vaccine groups.
The government needs to quit mandating stuff.
Protesters have also disrupted the border crossing at Coutts, Alberta.
Hold on. That was a great sound drop. I like that. But again.
This is the third weekend of protests that began with a cross-country trucker convoy rolling into Canada's capital, Ottawa, bolstered by anti-vaccine groups.
The government needs to quit mandating stuff.
So he says,
"Yep,
anti-vax groups, not mandate," and then play a clip of a guy saying they need to stop the mandates.
Yeah,
that's fucking sorry. That's COVID.
Yeah,
that's rude.
You, but
rude.
Who was what outlet
CBS, the Tiffany
CBS,
News Network.
RCBS, the
RCBS
thing? Okay.
Yep, the CIA
It's the
thing.
third weekend of protests that began with a cross-country trucker convoy rolling into Canada's capital, Ottawa, bolstered by anti-vaccine groups.
The government needs to quit mandating stuff.
Protesters have also disrupted the border crossing at Coutts, Alberta, just across from Montana. The blockades have been condemned by the trucking industry and called illegal by Canada's Prime Minister. Bruce Heyman is the former U.S. ambassador to Canada.
There was no expectation that this group of people who were legitimately protesting would be radicalized by extremists, and they are being encouraged now quite actively, almost daily, by some extremists within the United States.
It's the extremists in the United States.
Oh, yeah. White supremacists.
Trump. Just say it. Just say Trump.
They don't want to say Trump.
I actually do have one. Do you want to hear Premier Ford get grilled by...
Oh, this Ford guy's got to go.
Hi, good morning. Premier Colin DeMello from CTV News. This was a pretty consequential weekend, this last weekend in Ontario. You call it a siege. Ottawa police said it was an insurrection. A day later, Ottawa police, or the city of Ottawa, declared a state of emergency. On Saturday, there was, of course, a large-scale protest in downtown Toronto. There have been a lot of questions about you and your visibility. Premier, CTV News is...
This has got... Is this CTV? Is that an independent group? That can't be... an actual...
Yeah, CTV is the main competitor of CBC.
Oh, okay. And they probably didn't get any of the $600 million?
No, I'm sure they got the money too.
Wow, you actually did a Canadian accent. No.
I did, eh?
You did it? Oh.
I got this He got the money, and they took it and spent it.
I have actually vowed I will never do an aboot or an a joke ever again.
I'm glad.
Out of respect for what I've seen Canada capable of.
Okay.
And I tweeted such, and you know what? You know what people
can be that way. It's fine.
You know what people tweeted back at me when I said that? Said, "Don't, man, we like it. Don't stop that. We like it." Okay.
I said this in the show before. Gave a speech in Toronto some years ago, 20 years ago, and I put a little bit of a Canadian twist on it. I did talk a little slower. But it's not that they talk slow, but they like to say things a different way. And they have a little slightly up talked. I did the whole speech that way. It sounded fine. Everyone loved it. And then one guy says, I had no idea you're a Canadian. That's what the guy says to me. I said, yeah, that's great. That's great, man.
That's very talented. If you can pull that off, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, let's get to this clip.
Hi, good morning, Premier. Colin DeMello from CTV News. This was a pretty consequential weekend, this last weekend in Ontario. You call it a siege. Ottawa police said it was an insurrection. A day later, Ottawa police, or the city of Ottawa, declared a state of emergency. On Saturday, there was, of course, a large-scale protest in downtown Toronto. There have been a lot of questions about you and your visibility. Premier, CTV News has obtained photos of you in cottage country. We've spoken with people who took pictures with you, who say you were snowmobiling on Saturday, Premier. Can you explain why you decided to go snowmobiling during a stated insurrection and siege in Ottawa?
Let me make it very clear, Colin. I've been on this phone almost 24/7, along with the premiers, U.S. ambassadors, the governor, the prime minister, around the clock. Make no mistake, I have been engaged from the second this has happened, and I'll be continuing being engaged with the authorities that we need to talk to.
I love let me make it very clear, you piece of crap.
You know what? It would have been funny, although no one would have the guts to do it. When he says I've been on the phone 24/7, and the guy should have retorted with, you have a snowmobile with a phone in it?
Seriously. And also, wow, your job sounds really hard. Is it any harder than
is your ear hurting?
Do you work as much as a telemarketer? Do you get paid the same?
Compress for it, your ear.
Fair enough, but you are not dismissing what I'm saying here. I'm asking you, Premier, were you snowmobiling on Saturday in cottage country while Ottawa was under siege, as you say?
Let me tell you, Colin, I was at the cottage.
Let me tell
I went out on my snowmobile. I take calls till 1 o'clock in the morning. I get calls before.
Wait, what happened to 24/7?
I went out on my snowmobile. I take calls till 1 o'clock in the morning. I get calls before 6 o'clock in the morning, and I will not stop until we get this taken care of. And I will continue to make sure we're engaged in every single area of our responsibility.
To be fair, I mean, the guy only gets to sleep 5 hours. I mean, truckers have a much more luxurious life. What a tool, man. Do you think Canada will get pissed off enough to vote someone like that out? Do you think that anger is there? Is there enough of them? Have we seen the last of the great Canadian outrage, which I think it should have its own
week? Fun to see. I'm always stunned by the fact that they revoted or got Trudeau in for this last term is surprising.
Well, but that was a whole political trick they did, and all of the super powers they had given themselves. There's a whole analysis of his time. Everything was he didn't do shit. The timing of that snap election, everything was just done to continue power. There was almost no getting away from it. And I also think where is the opposition? And I know the lady from the Conservative Party is making a lot of noise. But what a political opportunity!
No, there's some stupidity in these parties. You can't put your finger on it. I mean, the one guy, this one a Sikh that was, or Sikh as they may want to pronounce it, the Indian guy was coming out against the truckers, and he's in a Labor Party.
Yeah,
I mean, not the Labor Party, but a party that's like
pro-labor,
communist.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. That's the cool thing, is that the socialists and the commies hate the truckers because it's a workers' protest, but it's not approved. It's not our workers' protest. It's a real one.
Yeah, the real ones are no good.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, go truckers. Today is an important day in No Agenda show history, where we once again will tell you, based upon geopolitical and other analyses, who will win the Super Bowl.
Yes, the Super Bowl is that right after the show.
Yeah.
Between the
what time is actually? I mean, okay,
I think 3:30. I think it kicks off.
But the 3:30 kicks off at 3:30.
Yeah, I think so.
3:30 your time.
Yeah.
Okay, at 5:30 here. Yeah, I got you. Okay, cool.
Something like that.
I don't want to miss it. I'm a sports fan. Yeah.
Well, you're not going to miss much. I mean, I don't think it's going to. Of course, you don't know. There's a number of aspects of this game. The Rams are clearly the superior team by by just an unbelievably large.
This is margin. For people who don't know, this is the Super Bowl. The final two teams is the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals.
What?
Cincinnati Bengals.
What? Oh yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams. Cincinnati showed that they have they have a quarterback that is.
He's cool. Level. He's cool.
That's what they keep.
Joe Cool,
He's on
man.
the level of a Joe Namath. They equate him with a Joe Namath style, a Joe Montana style, and a Brady style. I mean, he's like very super talented, a winner, and he's a winner.
Yeah.
The Rams have got a quarterback they've improved their quarterback, but the guy's never proven to be a winner. He can win maybe if they keep him out of too many plays. Because it's the defense of the Rams that is the important part of this. Unfortunately, I'm going to end this shortly, believe me. Unfortunately, the Rams have a coach who was in the Super Bowl once before with a different quarterback and only managed to score 3 whole points in the entire Super Bowl, considering he's supposed to be this offensive genius. Mm-hmm. He couldn't come up with anything. And so that, to me, is going to be if the Rams lose, it's this coach's fault.
Wow, you did a sports analysis. You didn't tell us geopolitically who's going to win. You tried to make sense. I don't like that.
Yeah, I know you don't, but that's what I had to do.
All right.
Now geopolitically, I don't see it.
Oh, it's so easy.
It's obvious to you.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, Los Angeles sucks. It's just it's a hellhole. It's a piece of crap. And we need to start the true demise. Now, I'm a little on the fence. If will riots start in the winning city, in the losing city, or both? And seeing China's involvement in the state of Ohio, I am going to say, hooray! The Bengals win. And it's not by a little bit. It's going to be crushing.
Well, that would be a fun game if that was the case, because that would prove my point about the coach. But the riots always traditionally start in the winning.
The winning. Yeah, I know. So I'm going a little bit against my wishes, but
because you want a riot to be in L.A.
Yeah, I do. That would make them win.
L.A. has great riots. When they have a riot,
it's good.
Yeah, people die.
Yeah.
So
they don't mess around in L.A.
So they have some good riots. Okay, we'll see.
I'm thinking, anyway, we'll see. It's probably going to be...
The betting folks think it's going to be, they give Cincinnati 3.5 points, 4 points maybe.
What does that mean?
That means that
they win by 3
points? On Cincinnati, if you bet on Cincinnati and they lose by 1 point, you win.
Oh, it's a handicap.
Yeah, it's similar.
Okay.
It's called the spread.
Can we still get in on that?
Yeah. You can always get in on it right till kickoff. Are you kidding?
I'm not. I've never gambled on sport. I don't gamble at all, really.
Yeah, it's not a good habit.
It can become a habit. I think that's the real problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do we have I'm saying Bengals. Are you in or out, or you think yes because of the LA?
I would love to see the Bengals win, and I like the point spread. I would bet on the Bengals for sure because they can lose by 2 and still win.
Mm-hmm. I always like a good spread,
and I don't like Los Angeles generally speaking. In terms of their athletic teams, because they compete with us up here.
Also, in terms of their complete Eurotrash douchiness that is Los Angeles. I think that's another reason just to hate on the Rams.
Yep.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage. Say in the morning to you, the man who put the C's in the COVID codpiece. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Mr. John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Crane. In the morning, I should see boots on the ground. Feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
Yo, in the morning, trolls there in the troll room. How you doing? Trollroom.io. Let's see how many of these trolls we have. Hands up, trolls. Come on. Ooh, scurry away. Look at that. What do we have here? 2,774. Not a record, not bad. And we'll take it. And we love seeing that many people listening live. Troll room jacked up. Very excited for some reason. Oh, I know why. Hog Stories live after No Agenda. Okay, I see what you think you can sit through our show and wait for it? If you want to join the trolls, and that's the kind of stuff they do. It's Curry, stop. Get out of the way. We want the other show. They troll all the time. You can join them, trollroom.io, and you can listen to the show live on Thursdays and Sundays, and it's 24/7, that stream, so there's always something going on. Give it a shot at trollroom.io, noagendastream.com, or follow us on the Mastodon. The Mastodon. And what?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, you were just making guttural noises?
I was just going
to... Okay. All right. I understand Tourette's, believe me. Follow Adam at noagendasocial.com or John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com. It's a great place to make friends in a somewhat peaceful manner, because this is a social network that does not have algos. You come in, you read your timeline, and you see a story you've seen before or a post. That means that you're done. You can either scroll back to the top, see something's new, or go on with your life. And it's available through any Mastodon server. That's what the Fediverse is about. And we still anxiously anticipate the arrival of Truth Social from the former president in the Fediverse. We shall see, apparently, in March. I'd like to thank the artist who brought us the artwork for episode 1424. We titled that one Guidepost, and the art was, although not our first pick, once we saw it, was unanimous for Correct the Record. This was the Lena Wen masterpiece of her on the Walkback All-Stars basketball team. This was a nice piece.
Yeah, the Photoshop on it was very well done, considering the time allowed. It was, there's a limited amount of time you have to do these pieces, and if you get your Photoshop skills have to be you have to be good.
You got to be sharp. Yeah.
Correct the Record is pretty good.
Now, the one we were looking at seriously is also, I felt, a pretty good Photoshop job, which is Tanta Neal with Lean Forward, which is the human resource in a blue wind blazer leaning forward against the wind. I thought the way she put Curry, Dvorak, and No Agenda on that windbreaker was quite good.
I liked the piece. Initially, I liked that piece the most because it has a funny look to it.
It does.
It's like a little kid trying to stand up in a stiff breeze.
Yeah.
And but it didn't have the elements of the political elements that were in the other piece.
It didn't have that oomph.
Yeah. Well, you didn't like the lean forward part where it was put. You thought that.
Yes, I thought. Yeah. Well, that's what it was missing. It was missing some dressing around it. Can't explain. Look, I'm not an artist, so it's easy for me to be critical.
No, but it's very easy for you to be critical because as the art director.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Very few artists are art directors.
Okay. All right.
You can be you're the guy. Hey, I like this piece better. I don't know what you're doing wrong, but this is no good. I want this piece here. This one's better. Use it.
We appreciated comic.
It's my art director voice.
Boy, you're a nightmare to work for.
Hey.
We appreciated comic strip bloggers' lean forward interpretation. Go to the site funny. If you want to see it. But yeah, and I think he does that just for us. I don't think he actually thinks we'll win. You like the Cracker Jack with the free crack pipe inside, but there was also something
like the apple dumplings piece. That's very funny.
I think there were technical problems with it.
Oh, I don't know. I liked it. You just didn't like it at all. I also like Beaver's Burger by Dropco. Who doesn't submit stuff that much.
We didn't discuss that.
No, it's a beaver with it's because we talked about the wood in the burgers, And
see, I didn't get it. That's why.
Mm-hmm. And there's a beaver saying, I love these burgers because it's got wood in it.
Yeah. And everything else. I mean, again, just beautiful. Who did this? Dame Kenny Ben did the New Science, which was also, I have to say, a nice piece. But it just, I don't know. It for some reason, the Dr. Lena Wen, the Backpedal All-Stars, timed perfectly. The backpedaling has begun. She was the one that did it. I mean, everything just fit in perfectly. And we appreciate the work from all of our artists, but certainly from Correct to Record, who won the coveted album artwork. We do a new piece of album artwork for every single show. When I say we, that's a big word, but it is a value for value show. So you can contribute with time, talent, treasure. So when artists put their time and their talent together and deliver this, it's a huge win for the show because it always delights and surprises. It grabs attention with people looking at their podcast app. It's always the same static image. It's always Rachel Maddow's face on the damn podcast that she does. It's boring. So there's like, what is this? Something new. People click. I think it brings new people in. I think it reminds people that we are the best podcast in the universe. And you can see all of the images we discussed and more in the chapters if you're using a modern podcast app from newpodcastapps.com, which also guarantee that you will never be without your No Agenda show. Unlike people who thought that they could listen to us on Spotify, to a pirated feed. Sure, you didn't know. It's gone. Don't complain. Drop the legacy apps. Go to newpodcastapps.com. And we're going to thank our executive and associate executive producers for episode 1425, kicking it off with his monthly, Seronimus of Dogpatch and Lower Slobovia, from, as you know, Lower Slobovia. $2,722.
Yeah.
He is the shining light every month in this show. Seronimus writes, thank you for all your hard work and building such a remarkable community across the globe, as well as developing a model for unfettered free speech. As other media participants face the reality of their revenue and platform restrictions, the model of innovation and courage provided by you two is inspirational. Thank you for your courage to begin a platform that shows the way for others. I'm sending in early while I still have access to the USPS. I wonder where he's going.
That means he's in the country?
Yep, but he's on his way out.
And he's not going to be for long.
He's not hanging around for what's next. I hope I am correct in my assessment of post-Olympic timing for hostilities. So, there you go. So my travel plans are uninterrupted or wow, this OCR scan sucks. I am used to the nose rape flying overseas, but the process is becoming less invasive. I wonder if this is either to reduce the COVID count or to send super spreaders overseas and help the U.S. to look comparatively better. Gone but not forgotten. In March 2020, the president tweet sent a message. It cannot be that oh my God, I'm sorry. I got to go to the original note. This OCR that we got is unreadable.
OCR is always.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. Hold on.
Okay, now where were you? I can find it.
I'll pick it up. I got it. Don't worry about it. I am used to the nose rape to fly overseas, but the process is becoming less invasive. I wonder if it is to either deduce the COVID count or to send super spreaders overseas and help the U.S. to look comparatively better. Gone but not forgotten. In March 2020, President Tweet sent a message. We cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself. Many Americans believe the stock market fixated, business-loving, and Washington outsider president with decades of "you're fired" fame would offer pandemic economic sense in his leadership and prevent government overreach and economic ruin. Yet, without a doubt, he abdicated his presidential responsibility to bureaucrats and permitted overreach, setting the stage for others to push further away from liberty. Which leads me back to an unlikely scenario of allowing potential typhoid Marys like me overseas by using less invasive testing. While it seems as unlikely as bat-eating induced COVID, after so much unlikely that has happened the past 23 months, maybe it's true. As my late brother, Sir Angelic Knight, often said, it's not a conspiracy theory if it's true. Neither tithing, zagat, zatqua, nor random, a point by itself has no meaning in triangulation or orienteering. The dude's a regular roomie. Poetry.
No jingles, no karma.
No jingles, no karma. He never wants it. Thank you so much, Seronimus. We really appreciate it, and you are a huge supporter, and it really is appreciated.
Indeed. All right, onward with who we got here? $600 max. Actually, he's got max. He sent a card in, actually, to prove it. I can make that noise. Jingles, beautiful yum. I don't know what that is.
I do.
Little girl, yay.
Mm-hmm.
And love you, mean it. No pagan karma, LOL. Thanks, guys. This donation is to bring my mom to Dame status. Please Dame her. Max's mom, Dame of the Hill people.
Of course, we'd be happy to do that.
Then he has $670 towards mom and $30 toward my girl, so she's not a douchebag anymore. So you want to de-douche her, except for the one little aspect of this.
Hold on.
You've been de-douched.
Got to de-douche.
He sent in 600, not 700. So his math is off. So he actually is sending in 570 towards mom and 30 to his girl.
What? So mom does not get damed?
No, I think that his calculation is based on the correct amount, and then
okay. He meant 570. Okay,
and if that's the case, he'll be glad to give us the additional.
I'm sure it's not a problem.
70 or whatever it is.
These people are good for it. Yes, of course we got those jingles for you. Could find them all.
Beautiful. Yum.
Love you, mean it.
That's an oldie, man. It's a good one.
Well.
Nick Annan is in Redmond, Oregon. Our favorite executive producership donation amount, 333.33. John and Adam, longtime listener, first-time donor. De-douching in order. So done.
You've been de-douched.
I would like to use my executive producership privilege to promote the upcoming meetup in Central Oregon. Yes, we're a big fan of this idea. Adam, if you would be so kind, please read the following in your best announcer voice. Oh, jeez. I got COVID. Central Oregonians, unite and decentralize. Bend, Redmond, Prineville, Madras, Sisters, and all towns in between. Come one, come all to the first of many No Agenda meetups in Central Oregon. Where? Mecca Great Brewery and Tasting Room in Madras, Oregon. When? Saturday, February 19th, starting at high noon. This will be a potluck event, so bring food to share. For more info, go to noagendameetups.com. Thank you so much for what you guys do. Jingle, stay safe, no freedom. Ha! How was that?
I thought the first part your heart wasn't into it. Then you caught fire.
Yes, all of us. I know. It was great. I felt really good about it.
Especially that fast talking at the end.
Yes, okay.
Stay safe!
No.
Kids.
Thank you, Nick.
Mark Churich.
That was a cold read, I want everybody to know. Cold read.
Oh, yeah.
Had not read this before.
Everything we do is cold.
Cold.
Mark Churich in Brentwood, Tennessee, 333.33. Please accept this donation of 33.33 for my wife, Lisa. She is an avid listener. I don't know if she gets... No, I don't think it's a switcheroo.
No.
He's just going to give her credit here. She's an avid listener of the show, but hasn't donated.
Ooh.
Please de-douche her.
You've been de-douched.
We would love some Trump's jobs karma for our son's residency match and anything by Reverend Al. See you in Nashville.
Sadly, I won't.
Not quite.
But the next time, for sure.
RESPICT. Jobs.
You've got karma.
That's what they want. That's what they get. Sir Manila envelope is in The Hague, Den Haag, in the Netherlands. 333.33. Dankjewel. In the morning, Adam and John, the F cancer I requested last time seems to be working. So keep up the good work. I request a health karma for all producers, and especially you, Adam. Love is lit, Sir Manila envelope. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You've got karma.
This is heartbreaking now, all these donations.
Yeah, especially from Sir Kevin Dills, the Earl of North Carolina from Huntersville with 333.33, who writes in the morning, please send some travel karma. See ya all in Nashville. Sir Kevin Dill, Earl of North Carolina.
You've got karma.
COVID cough.
David Geo. He has a pronunciation guide. Thank you, David Geo. Good. Wildwood, Missouri, 333.33 in the morning. This donation is a birthday present to me from my smoking hot wife to start my march toward knighthood and beyond. Oh, what a beautiful gift that is. I'll always love those kinds of gifts. Would you please be so kind as to de-douche me? Well, yes.
You've been de-douched.
While I was aware of the podcast for years, I didn't start listening until this time last year. I wonder why you didn't. I wonder what was it? What was it that sent you over the edge? Now my amygdala.
By the way, I'd like to know that myself. And the question remains, what were you listening to instead?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now as my amygdala has never been healthier, thanks to both of you and your courage. Can you please add me to the birthday list as Monday marks my 53rd revolution? And speaking of health, can I get a health karma as I also will be having a tooth pulled and 2 implants placed on that day? Well, it's not that bad, I don't think. What are we drinking today?
This time it is Signature Seltzer Water.
Signature Seltzer Water. And does that have high fructose corn syrup?
It's seltzer water.
Just asking. Can I get a health karma as well? The tooth pulled? Yes. For Jingles, I humbly request a biscuit for my birthday. Ooh, that's true. We got a that's true. And a yay and a health karma. Yeah, we got all that for you.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
That's true. Yay! You've got karma.
Thomas Pears in Memphis, Tennessee, who will also be at the meetup, 333.
It's horrible.
ITM from Memphis, Tennessee. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
He's going to need, he also play a little mac and cheese. He needs some karmas. I'm planning to move to Sao Paulo. I'm moving to Sao Paulo, so this will be my last chance to see Adam. I'm looking so forward to it. I'll be leaving the next day.
This sucks.
I'm planning to move to Sao Paulo for work, but they seem to be going in the wrong direction with the COVID restrictions right now. Hope they'll roll back this nonsense by the time I head there in a few months. Sao Paulo's a big town. Appreciate your dedication to exposing the M5M's brainwashing campaign. Thomas, P.S. I'm attaching a clip from the Memphis radio station 106.7. I stumbled on the station while scanning the radio in the car. So apologies for the garbage sound quality, but I thought it was hilarious. Rant from a black toe. Okay, well, we didn't.
No, I do have it, but it's a long rant. It was, of course, it was a ADOS African American talk show host who says, what is this bull crap with the crack pipe? There's a whole bunch of historical reasons why he would have something to say about that.
I would hope so.
Yes. So I'm so sorry, man, but I think Meetup Sao Paulo might be in order. Once you're there, once you're established, get all that set up.
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese. Cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Hey, everybody.
You've got karma.
Anonymous from Wembley Downs, Washington, 333. My first ever donation, but thank you for keeping me sane for the past 2 years as I've endured my entire friendship group tell me how lucky I am to live in the psychological and physical prison that is Western Australia. Oh, that's Western Australia. I'm sorry, I thought that was in Washington. Wembley Downs, Western Australia. Yes. So he's been kept sane by the show and the producership while having to endure all his friends telling him how lucky he is to live in Western Australia. Oh, boy. Okay. Wow. Yes.
Terry Kobialka Purdin. Kobielka. What do you think? Purdon. And he's he's in Tigard, Oregon. She's. Oh, hi, Terry. She's in Tigard, Oregon. 3:33. My bestie and I are headed to Nashville for the big meetup with Adam.
It's not funny.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. And my bestie and I are headed to Vegas on a Wednesday evening for a quickie girls trip. Our bill ended up being $33.94. So she contributed that. Lots of love from TP in Tigard, Oregon. And then there's something that I can't read because it's a mess.
It's something J and A. Maybe it was something for us. Something J and A.
It's hard to say. It's in it came in a Unicode, and it just. But anyway, thank you.
Yes,
give her some travel karma.
Okay, we'll do that. Even though I didn't ask.
You've got karma.
Girls trip.
We got tons of it.
Girls trip. Vegas girls trip. Yeah, Vegas girls trips. Tina has told me about a couple of her Vegas girls trips when she was younger.
Yeah, I bet.
Man, Vegas girls trips, they get kind of wild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Christian Bowers.
They promote that idea.
They do.
In Vegas.
Yes, they do. Christian Bowers is in Duluth, Georgia. 278.77, associate executive producer, the first one. First off, I want to thank you both for your courage and value that you've brought into my life. Well, I'm not sure what mass formation percentage group I want to be a part of without you and the rest of the Gitmo Nation. I am very grateful for where I am with you. Second, I want to thank all the preceding producers and other time, talent, treasure, Time, talent, and treasure contributors of the past 14 years as you've helped build this voice of truth and reason and kept it going. No, you guys kept it going. Let's be honest, guys. Is there really a better exit strategy than this? Well, how is this an exit strategy except we die?
On the show. That's the way everyone wants to go.
In the saddle, baby. Head against the mic. That's right. Boom. Third, I want to thank Avery, my friend and recently former colleague, for hitting me in the mouth 3 years ago. That was on show 1110, the Kremlin Crush. Alas, while I have pleasantly frequented the No Agenda shop, this is my first donation, so please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
Monthly subscription ensuing. Subsequently, let everyone know that Ohana is a douchebag. Okay, Ohana. A Valentine's shout out to my amazing wife, Melanie, for 6 wonderful years and 2 beautiful boys. Our anniversary is the 20th, her birthday the 21st, and our youngest birthday on the 25th. I need some F cancer for my brother Tim, who recently got COVID while also dealing with experimental treatments for his melanoma that has painfully progressed into his lungs. Also, Avery and I could both use some jobs karma with an R2-D2 kick. Okay, we got a lot going on here with you, sir. Being my first donation, please indulge me with the following jingles. Yes, I'm happy to. Screw your freedom. Get vaccinated. You might die. That's true. And thank you for your diligence, Adam. It says, yes, go dogs. Okay, we got you.
Screw your freedom.
Get vaccinated.
You might die.
That's true.
Oops.
You've got karma.
There we go.
We're running along today. Michael Hayner in Pierce, California, 255. Jingles, he wants the whole load.
Hey, wait a minute. Wasn't this the guy who came in Thursday morning? Yeah. I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. I think so. Well,
yep. Because he said that John was still welcome on Twit.
But did we? Yeah,
we put him on the knighting list and we read his note.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure we got that. So that's done, okay. Right?
Michael, You're covered already.
You're good, man. You're good.
Nice try, though.
Good work.
Josh Springer will go to him in Indianapolis, 22222. Switcheroo. This is Switcheroo. It's a row of ducks as a V-Day gift toward my damehood of the
I'm sorry. It's geese. Is it not geese? It's not ducks.
Well, he said this is a row of ducks.
Oh, I thought that the whole point of the donation was geese.
No, this is a Yeah, well, that was once. But we'll call it whatever he wants to call it.
Okay, good enough.
He says it's a row of ducks. It's a V-Day gift toward the damehood of the smoking hottest Johnsy fan club, Brittany Baxter. Well, that's a good name.
So Brittany is the head of the Johnsy fan club?
I don't know.
That would be your fan club.
Oh, Johnsy.
You're Johnsy. You're Johnsy. Yes, you're Johnsy.
Following. Brittany, yeah. Go Brittany. By the way, Brittany Baxter's a great name.
It's a radio
for
name.
A heroine.
It's like, hey, everybody, Brittany Baxter here. Z100.
Brittany Baxter, yeah. Lost her job. She lost her job during the pandemic and used it as an opportunity to chase the dream of starting a plant-based, nut-free food product company. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the specialty.
Mm-hmm.
She has grown it from a single product being made in her kitchen to quite the operation. If you are ever in Indianapolis, the Indianapolis area, pick yourself up some Amaze Ball. It lives up to its name. I'm surprised somebody hasn't come up with a product name like that
Amaze
already.
Ball.
Here, have an Amaze Ball. It's a savory cheese ball spread. Cheese without the cheese. It's available at many local groceries and farmers markets. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for being my partner in crime, literally and figuratively. I'm so very proud of you and that you are mine. Love, Josh.
Aw, that's so sweet. Cheese balls without the cheese.
You might die.
Let's go, Brandon.
You've got karma.
Baron Sir John of South London, 222.22, London, the United Kingdom. Please, urgent health karma request. Please accept this donation of 222.22 as my latest installment in the value for value that No Agenda gives me. Also, my friend Molly has gone off the radar and doesn't reply to texts or calls.
Ghosted.
Without going into too much detail, she has had issues in the past, and I'm worried sick about her. No, John, this may be serious. Please, could you and the extended No Agenda family give her health karma? Thank you so much. Of course we'll do that, obviously. Honk, honk, let's go, Brandon. Oh, okay. I don't know if you wanted a let's go, Brandon, but I can satisfy both those things for you.
Let's go, Brandon!
You've got karma.
Ooh, those are geese honks.
Yeah.
Anonymous comes up
by the way,
next.
I've learned it's Canada geese, not Canadian geese. Did you know that?
Canada geese?
Yeah.
I've always called them Canadian geese.
I've always said
we have a this in the East Bay of California. We have a large contingent of these animals. And they land in anytime there's a big grassy knoll, they'll land there and they'll start just eating weeds. And they do weeding.
They eat weeds, man.
Buggers eat weeds. And the funny thing is, you watch, there'll be like 100 of them. And there'll be like about 4 of them that don't eat the weeds. They're standing up tall and straight up, and their necks are elongated, and they're looking all around. The guards, they're the geese guards. And you watch them and they're looking out for somebody coming or somebody with an axe. I don't know what they're looking for, but they keep an eye out. And then when one of the geese will they'll switch sides, and that goose will start eating the whatever they're eating. And another one will pop up instead, take its place. It's quite something to see. It's very coordinated.
Well, listen, Sir Richard Attenborough, I appreciate the lesson. All I was saying is I've learned it's Canada geese, not Canadian geese.
I went off the rails.
A little bit.
Anonymous is next. Anonymous is not off the rails, but he's in for $222.22, another row of geese. Anonymous, hi guys. Thanks for keeping me sane for years. This donation is from my meaty millennial man. When I donated last September for his birthday, he said millennials should come before the man. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Always, love is lit. Get vax. No.
Get vaccinated.
No.
And we'll throw in a karma for you.
You've got karma.
running long.
Can you just? I didn't get these jingles. Could you just do this one for me? I got.
Jessica Burke's up next from Brookshire, Texas, and I'm sure they pronounce it Brookshire. This is Texas after all. 222.22. ITM gents, I had to let you know that on your previous show, 1424, I literally sprayed milk from my nose. The goal of anyone with one-liners. During your discussion on the possible meaning of the acronym SAM, S-A-H-M, this was my sign that it was time to donate. SAM actually means stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
For your future reference. We had all kinds of things.
We were really wrong on that, weren't we?
Yeah, but we're having fun, and we got her to spray milk from her nose.
Yeah, this is a bonus.
I know this being one myself to 2 under 2 human resources. I'd like to make a shout out to my smoking hot husband of 6 years, as our anniversary is tomorrow on Valentine's Day.
How nice is that?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, John, be nice.
Oh, can you please give me a de-douching? I'm sure there was some eye rolling when we're getting married on Valentine's Day.
You've been de-douched.
She wants some dog karma for starting off our next year of marriage and an Obama boom shakalaka jingle. Love is lit.
Yeah, there's no Obama boom shakalaka. That is, that's Manning.
Bingo boom shakalaka.
I think that's what she meant.
You've got karma.
Signed Jessica Burke.
What do we have here? Samuel Nelson in Los Angeles. Get ready for the riots tonight, Samuel. 222.22. Please take these ducks off my hands. Jingles. Trump is asshole? Sometimes you guys are really weird with what you think these jingles are. And you want ants. Well, we'll give you a little bit of both now, won't we?
China is asshole.
Oh, no, wait.
What?
I think what he meant was the Trump, where he says, don't trust China. Trump, don't trust China. China is asshole.
Oh, he wants the long. The long version.
That's my guess. That's what he's put Trump in there.
Well, see, people, if you got to give instructions.
Donald Trump, don't trust China. China is asshole.
We got it all for you. Hold on, I'll get a little bit of ants for him. Roll those ants out. Hey now, whoa.
I got ants.
I got ants. I'll play it. You know what? I'm going to play it all at the end of the show today.
You've got karma.
We're light on end of show mixes, so I'll play the full thing.
Samuel Nelson in Los Angeles, another one who's, I'm sorry, we just did him. Sir Mac in Odenton, Maryland, 21422, which is the Valentine's Day donation.
Yes.
Sir Mac here trying to say, I love you very much to my Valentine, Dame Lauren. Nice. There you go.
Oh, that's easy. Sir Don Francis in Chandler, Arizona, with a 21420 Valentine's Day donation. Please credit this towards Stephanie Francis's eventual damehood. Okay, keep your own accounting. I can't think of a better way to honor my best friend and the love of my life on Valentine's Day than a donation to the best podcast in the universe. I love you, Stephanie. Now, I will say, Sir Don, I always love donations to the No Agenda Show for birthdays, anniversaries. I hope you got her a card, too, just in case.
Card.
Which I might want to say how much I love my keeper, Tina Marie Curry. I have not been able to purchase even a card for her because of the COVID. So let this be
You can make one with your printer.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll make one. Yes. That's what we used to do. That's what we used to do for Mom. Make one. I get some yarn and some glue.
Yeah, I just make something real nice. And a piece of paper. I think it'd be fine.
Oh, you're so practical. There's so much the romantic, John. Yeah, you can stick a piece of paper in the printer.
Yeah, you just write a nice
Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Emily Williams, 21420, for my smoking hot husband's birthday. Oh, nice. Johnny V. Johnny V isn't as much of a romantic as you think a Valentine baby. Oh, he's born on Valentine's Day would be. but I don't mind. He's been teaching me conspiracy facts for 20 years. What could be more romantic than that? It's pretty dang sexy to me. XOXO.
Doodlebug.
Doodlebug.
That's her nickname, Doodlebug. I guess. Or is he the Doodlebug? That's the question. Well, XOXO Doodlebug. Sir Walkman, 21420. The 15th of Love Month, marks Dame Toonsis and I's 30th anniversary. And we never had a fight. From the lovable fuzzball, Sir Walkman. Thank you very much, Sir Walkman. These are nice, these short little beautiful Valentine's greetings. I love that.
That was it?
That's it. Yeah, that's all there was.
Oh, I'm sorry. John Muchink, I think. Muchink. 214.20, another Valentine's Day donation. Please credit Amy Mullen with this donation. This is a switcheroo.
Oh, switcheroo.
Please make a note.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I can avoid having to take her out to eat tomorrow night. There's a romantic.
Woo! Well done. Well played.
Love you, baby. No jingles, no karma. Thanks, guys. John Muchink.
What's funny is that I'm always reading a little ahead. I'm like, where's this love you, baby jingle? I can't seem to find this love you, baby jingle until I realized that he said love you, baby to Amy.
Yeah. Not you.
James Jackson, 21420. This donation is for my wonderful wife, Nicole Jackson, who just gave birth to our third human resource, Josephine James Jackson, on February 12th, 2022. Love you, babe. Mean it. I would also like to wish my daughters Charlie and Everly a happy Valentine's Day. Goat and baby birthing karma for all. You got it. Thank you, James.
You've got karma.
And our last Valentine's Day specific donation comes from David Ingram. Parts unknown, $214.20.
Australia.
Oh, he's in Australia. My smoking hot wife, Carrie Rollins, happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for punching me in the mouth. She punched him in the mouth. Love is lit. David.
Kevin Brown also. Oh, this is a 21391. Interesting. I'm not sure what this is. Let's find out. Kettering, Ohio. Hi, John and Adam. This is my first donation on the way to knighthood. It's significant for today's Super Bowl. Burrow to Chase is 213.91. The Bengals are going to shock the world, beating the Rams. Hooday! I'd like to secure my future knighthood name of Sir Smoothline, Knight of the Loose Women. I think you're pretty good on safety there. Stay free, no agenda, nation, he says. Very nice. Very nice.
Christina Henry, the Dame Christina, Pearl of the Clear Blue Skies in Deputy, Indiana. I come from Deputy, Indiana. 21346. Happy birthday, Mr. Henry. I'm still a dame without a knight.
Oh,
but this goes towards your knighthood, keeping my own accounting.
Mm-hmm.
You said you didn't want a big deal made for your birthday, so no karma, no jingles. Mwah, love.
From Pearl. John Wynn is in Austin, Texas. Sorry to hear that. 212.68. I wonder if I know John. I must know John. In the morning, John and Adam, thank you for your courage. Yesterday marked my 54th trip around the sun. This donation elevates me to the title of Knight of the No Agenda Roundtable. I shall henceforth be known as Sir Hold My Beer. I require generous amounts of IPA and ginormous beef ribs at the roundtable. You got it. Please play as many of Rev Al's greatest hits as you see fit. Well, I mean, there's only so much we can do of the Rev Al. Let's do a. We haven't done a teleprompter in a while, I don't think. I love how Steven Crowder somehow got a hold of the supercut that we've been playing for. Gosh,
decade.
This one maybe 9 years or so.
Oh, I thought you meant Crowder's use of the "Resist We Much."
No, he played the original supercut with "Resist We Much." Whatever he's playing, I saw it. That's something we've been playing, but we didn't put it together. And it's just funny how people are slamming him for it. You're stealing the best podcast in the universe, jingles. Not really, but it's okay.
Thanks to you, Ed. Is this Groundhog Day 2 we are watching that was Attorney General Eric Holder?
Because if you really want the stuff, don't go to Crowder. You come to the No Agenda show for the good Al.
ABD's.
I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Crowder's the one I saw him play the Supercut, and he didn't have the tortoise in the race.
No, he doesn't have any of the good shit. No, of course not. No.
About some Republicans at home are already beating the drums of war. Today, the Pentagon refuted that claim. And he said the American people do not want him to, quote, dwindling. They do not want him dwindling his thumbs. You can get a gig as a contortionist. Intravenous fluids and pills coated with gelatin. We don't leave our women or men in uniform behind. It's a monument to the hubris of Dick Cheney. Representative Raul Labrador. Years of abuse. I personally apologized to Mr. Peebles. Just ask soon-to-be former Congressman. Democrats are outright jitty. CIA's counterterrorism center. Veteran Affairs Secretary Shinseki. Why do I always mess up his name? Shinseki. I love my critics. I have fun with that.
So again, if you want the good stuff from Al, then you come to the No Agenda show.
As did Anonymous, who's in Fairview Heights, Illinois, 21260. He writes, Anonymous, donation to my wife. Thanks for doing the work. Stay safe. Clips. Screw your freedom and no.
Screw your freedom.
No.
Joseph Leslie is in Calverton, New York, 210.33. See email for night note and accounting. Is somewhere?
I don't have it.
Glad to hear your show and join the roundtable, or Sir Dino, Knight of Sandy Parks. Joseph.
Well, he's on the list, I think.
Yeah, he's on the list, but we have not found any other email from you. So.
Okay, well.
But you're there. We'll see you there. We're looking forward to it.
I'll take a look in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Richard of Burbank, north of the 5. That's the I-5.
That's right.
You. 20202 in Burbank, obviously. Dear John and Adam, no jingles, no karma. Sir Richard of Burbank, north of the 5. P.S. Are there any other slaves here in Hiroshima, Japan? Oh, he's actually in Hiroshima, Japan.
Oh, yes, there are. You bet. We got all kinds of human resources in Japan.
So I don't know what you're going to go. I don't know how to get in touch with them.
No Agenda Social, of course, or anywhere on the Fediverse.
But it's blocked.
It's not blocked. He's Sir Richard. He's on No Agenda. They're all the important people are on No Agenda Social.
Oh, okay.
Or you can look him up. The search works too. Scott not blocked. Closed off. Scott Reinhardt, Sioux Rapids, Iowa, $201. In the morning from Fan Belt, Iowa, where everyone lives in the middle of a cornfield and loves it. $200 this donation goes to my smoker hat wife, Carla, as she is as good as they get. Happy Valentine's Day, sweetie. $1 goes to me, so please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
I'd like to call the following people out as douchebags: George, Chris, and Marshall. And winds up with, keep on trucking, boys. Huh. Was that short enough? Yeah, we think so. Appreciate it.
Sir Harvey Wallbanger in Nashville, Tennessee, 200. And he says this is a switcheroo. Put this toward my love and favorite Valentine, Erin, from Party Place Cards on Etsy for her damehood.
So it's a switcheroo too?
She's going to get what she says switcheroo. That means she's getting the credit for this donation too.
Yep.
We are looking towards forward. We're looking forward pretty much for all of our lives for the Nashville meetup to meet Adam. Erin has been working hard on decorating for the party. She's been working hard for decorating for the party. Figured we could put some treasure along with her time and talent for the greatest podcast in the universe. Thank you for your courage.
Again, I feel horrible. Thank you, Sir Harvey.
You should get over it.
I feel bad. Zach,
Let me read the next one so you can. Oh, no, I got the note. You're going to have to read this one, yeah.
Yeah, because the note is out of control. Zach Welch, we're almost at the end here. $200 from Burien, Washington. No other note, just Zach Welch. We appreciate it,
Zach Welch donates a lot, and he's in Burien.
Yeah, but he no note. So
I know he never sends in a note, or he hasn't yet. Okay, this is from Chuck Brochetti. This is our last donation. It's in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. He wrote a 3-page note, but I'm only going to, it's just
handwritten on legal pad.
Yeah, very hard to read. But it's mostly about, I can read the first part because the rest of it's just about Korean politics.
Okay.
He's in Korea. This is my report from the obedient vassal state of Korea, following lockstep with the global script. I am one of those criminal unvaxxed expats standing tall among the 92% vaxxed, hypnotized Koreans.
Ugh.
Standing proud and tall. And like Adam, I don't want that poison crap in my body. I've had 2 or 3 students, he's obviously teaching English or something along those lines, suffer heart attacks or heart problems after these second dose.
In class?
Well, I don't know if it was in class or not. It doesn't say. Another colleague student suffered swollen lymph nodes and can barely move his head. And he goes on about Korea and how onerous the entire process is over there. And they're constantly poking your nose and checking to see if you have it. He says they're psychologically damaging people. And it goes on. He says, thanks ever so much for the show, Chuck. So that's the note in a nutshell.
Thank you very much, Chuck. We're going to hit you with some goat karma on the way out. For that,
you've got karma.
And those are our executive and associate executive producers. Very good showing, everybody. Thank you for participating in Valentine's Day, which means you do read the newsletter. That's really good. And, of course, it's always enjoyable to read the history of Valentine's Day. John, it's appreciated. You do these things very well. Do you just copy and paste from last year?
Yep.
Why does that not surprise me?
Well, now, let me explain. We've done the show for almost 15 years, and this is our 15th Valentine's Day show. They've been a bust from day one. They were a bust. We bitched and moaned and constantly complained about Valentine's Day and Mother's Day.
Right.
Last year, after the COVID, both Valentine's Day and Mother's Day became big success stories.
Yes, because mothers were taking care of families and appreciated.
Yeah, and the Valentine's people started realizing that they had, someone in their life they wanted to thank.
Yeah, they got something good in their life.
So I looked at last year's note and said, boom. Well, I did edit it down so it made more sense. I couldn't say the same exact thing. But I said, I'm going to go with this again.
Yeah,
and
excellent.
I did. And the number of times I've done that is 1, and this is the time.
We appreciate all the Valentine's Day sentiments and all of the support we saw from our executive and associate executive producers. These credits are real. You can use them anywhere credits are recognized. And if anyone questions that, we will be happy to vouch for you, or go show them IMDb, show them how many superstars in Hollywood actually have these titles and display them proudly on the Internet Movie Database.
And I should mention that in the newsletter, I did have some new art, including the Justin Trudeau tweet from 2020, where he thanks the truck drivers for keeping the country going. And
yes, that was people. Yes.
And you should always have hashtag thank a trucker.
What a douche nozzle.
Dvorak.org/NA.
It's time, it's talent, it's treasure. We appreciate you bringing it all for episode 1425.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order. Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
All right. Second big story of the day. Got to be Russia.
Well, there's one in between that I want to play. I was going to slip it in the first part of the show.
That's what she said.
It's a big, Russia comes up right after this because you can't pass this story up.
Okay.
This is rats
Wait.
Rats in San Francisco.
Oh, my goodness.
San Francisco parents are concerned about a rodent problem at a busy play area for children. A rat infestation is being reported at the Helen Diller Civic Center playgrounds just behind San Francisco City Hall. Children can be seen chasing and playing with rats that are about 8 inches long. UCSF's Dr. Peter Chinhong says it's important for children to wash their hands and never touch their mouths or faces when near a potentially rodent-infested area. Some parents claim the white, brown, and gray rats are living in overgrown bushes and are running around during the afternoon hours.
Wow.
Isn't that a great story?
It's happening. It's finally happening. The demise is set in.
The kids are playing with and chasing the rats around, and they're all having a great time.
Hold on a second. How come? Where's the rat poop inspectors? Isn't this their prime job of all health professionals in the U.S. to inspect rat
poop? You think they'd be on the spot fixing the problem?
My goodness, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
That's, by the way, my favorite clip. Okay, let's go to now. I have a ton of these Russian clips.
Well, before we start, I need to educate us for 10 seconds. This will be about Russia and Ukraine. And there has been confusion over the pronunciation of Kiev. Is it Kyiv? Is it Kiev? Which one is right? And wouldn't you know that CBS gave us a real insight into why the news media says Kyiv.
And one more note. Some have wondered why we're pronouncing Ukraine's capital as Kyiv instead of Kiev. That's because Kyiv is how Ukrainians say it. Kiev is how Russians say it.
Now you see these cucks are so bad. They hate Russia so much that the whole world has said Kiev for as long as I can remember. But now it's like, no, it's Kyiv.
We have a note from one of our producers that came in a few shows ago saying, hey, I live with a guy from Ukraine and he pronounced it Kiev, so it's got to be Kiev. But we've noticed that starting with Noodleman years ago, during the Obama administration, she kept pronouncing it Kyiv. And we've made the assumption that this is code.
Yeah, it's code for I'm on board with the douchebags, as far as I can tell.
That's my interpretation too.
It's a virtue signal. If you say Kyiv, then we know that you hate Putin.
Yeah, that's probably it.
We should check. What does Megyn Kelly say? I wonder if she says Kyiv or Kiev.
I don't know what she says.
But she hates Putin. That's why I'm curious.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't even know if it's maybe some association with the CIA. So let's go with let's start with this. This is the openers. I got these NPR. This kind of semi introductory, and I think it'll keep us up to speed. This is Russia opener.
Earlier today, President Biden spoke with Vladimir Putin on the phone for about an hour. We'll hear more about that call later in the program. The president had asked to speak with Putin after U.S. intelligence officials determined Russia might invade Ukraine within days. On Friday, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the U.S. did not know if Putin intends to invade, but that U.S. civilians in Ukraine ought to leave now.
If a Russian attack on Ukraine proceeds, it is likely to begin with aerial bombing and missile attacks that could obviously kill civilians without regard to their nationality. A subsequent ground invasion would involve the onslaught of a massive force.
The U.S. State Department has ordered most employees to leave the embassy in the Ukrainian capital and says it will suspend consular services there beginning on Sunday. NPR's Steve Inskeep has been gaining some insight from a senior U.S. military official. Steve, thanks so much for being with us.
Good morning, Scott. Glad to be here.
Why is the U.S. intensifying its warnings now, from what you've been able to glean?
Well, not because they definitely know what Russia's going to do. This senior military official wasn't authorized to speak publicly, so we're not using their name. But the official added insight and said, quote, "We do not have evidence that Putin has made a decision." Nevertheless, something was detected in recent days that is sharply heightened concern.
Chatter.
I just want to mention I was watching, I was scanning through everything Saturday, and every channel had somebody on the spot, near Kyiv, and we're just, Putin, it's clear, Putin has said, we expect, could be very tense, the next 72 hours could be really intense, and you know who was front and center? Fox News. They're all warmongers. All of them are warmongers. They all are buying it. They're all part of this bull crap. Oh, yeah, Putin's going to attack any minute now. Shut up.
Well, this started last week, and I watched the press conference with the Scott or whatever his name is.
Ned.
No, it wasn't Ned. It was the National Security Advisor.
Yeah.
And he goes on, and it was on CNBC, so I got to watch the market collapse as he was going on.
It's cool.
And he soft-pedaled the fact that it was NPR itself that made the accusation that Putin had already told them they're going to attack. And this goes and this everyone getting on board this, especially they're going to attack this week. I guarantee that they're not going to attack this week because and just for one, by the way, I have a good an analyst who comes on who really has a nice way of putting this, but the way I see it is that Putin is not going to attack before the Olympics are over, and they keep indicating that he might. And the logic goes thus: if Putin attacks, which he's not going to do, they would cut off that Nord Stream overnight. They would. I mean, it's already cut off, but they would never get to open. So hold
on, stop. The pipe is completely functional.
So but they're not going to let any gas come.
Who's they? Biden? Biden's going to do that? How's Biden going to do that?
They're not going to let any gas through it. It's going to be a disaster. They're going to do it through just sanctions. It's going to cause a brouhaha, which is another reason they won't do it. But let's just say if Putin has his gas cut off from Nord Stream, who's he going to sell it to?
China.
So you'd think if he's going to sell it to China, which is exactly what would happen, that he wouldn't want to screw with Xi by having this invasion for no good reason this week before the Olympics are over and take all the spotlight away from the Olympic Games because he's got a big show to do. And they got the big final day of the Olympics is always a big production. And he does it was, throw shade on the Olympics. Xi's his buddy who's going to buy the gas. It makes zero sense. Well, and what's the rush?
Beside that, it's also right now during the evening in Ukraine, it's freezing, and during the day it's thawing and it's mud everywhere. It's really a bad time to go invade a country if you want troops on the ground.
Well, the whole thing is nonsense, but it's annoying that they're promoting it, but it's our news media that's promoting it.
Hello, that's what they do. It's warmongers. This is all that they are.
Russia opener 2. Let's get to the second part of it.
Do we know what it is?
The official was not specific, but described this as less of a smoking gun, like one great piece of intelligence, and more as the result of information that's accumulated for months. More and more Russian troops are positioned near Ukraine. I should add a qualifier here. We know from publicly available satellite photos that troops are not right on the border, but they are in staging areas some distance away, officially performing military exercises.
Let's also add the Russians haven't offered any kind of political justification or pretext that would justify an invasion.
No, they haven't. When their troops went into some other countries in recent years, they had some excuse, some kind of violence or unrest, or even an invitation from somebody in the country to come in. We haven't seen that with Ukraine. The U.S. has warned of false flag operations that would create that pretext, but that hasn't happened yet either. Nevertheless, the Russians have piled up tremendous force.
Where's the video?
Jake Sullivan talked about aerial bombings and missile attacks. What would an invasion look like?
Well, I felt that Sullivan's words were particularly meaningful because Russia is one of the few nations in the world that could conduct the kind of invasion that, Scott, we associate with the United States. When the U.S. invaded Iraq, and I know you covered that, they ordered sudden airstrikes, they fired missiles, they dominated the skies, they had armored units who could race to the capital, they very quickly decapitated the government. It was very violent, it was very fast, and Russia has many of those same capabilities. Russia also has precision weapons. Their planes would dominate the skies. It's widely reported they've deployed large numbers of rocket launchers and missiles to Belarus, and they have many, many combat infantry battalions in Belarus where they could very quickly reach the capital.
When you look at a map, not a long way from the border to the capital.
No, and because of the way Ukraine's military is spread out in a very big country, the senior military official says that very, very few Ukrainian troops are currently defending the roads to Kyiv. They would be massively outnumbered.
You know what the giveaway is, John, in all this? Every single report is talking about the military weapons. They've got this, they've got that, they've got this thing, they got that capability. Because this is a military industrial complex operation, I'm sure they're already making money. Oh, we've got to counter the this and the that and the that and the that. We needed this and that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this whole reporting is all about the war machine. It's all about the war. It's all about the tools. Not even about...
Sales are down.
Yes, sales are down. Hey, Joe, you pulled us out of Afghanistan, but you promised us new sales.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, besides the $80 billion in sales that were left in Afghanistan.
But that's good. Hello. That's what we love.
Yeah. Hello. Here's $80 billion. It's right in your pockets. Let's go to part 3 of this.
Let's remind ourselves what's at stake for the United States and Ukraine.
Well, for the Biden administration, as well as the military, this is a test of the rules-based international order that has endured since 1945. The official says this would be a huge act of international aggression, and it would strike at the idea of national sovereignty and endanger these rules that have been used to avoid a world war for generations, Scott.
I thought it used to be the liberal world order. No, it's this rules-based world order.
Wait. What he just said, you might want to play this clip again. Mm-hmm. How does this, what he said, jive with what we did, what NATO did, and what we did in Libya, what we did in Iraq, what happened to Gaddafi's operation?
Yeah.
I mean, how does what he's about to say, what he said here, how does it jive with any of that? Or Serbia for that matter, the shock and awe. How does it jive with shock and awe? Play it again.
Let's remind ourselves what's at stake for the United States and Ukraine.
Well, for the Biden administration, as well as the military, this is a test of the rules-based international order that has endured since 1945. The official says this would be a huge act of international aggression, and it would strike at the idea of national sovereignty and endanger these rules that have been used to avoid a world war for generations, Scott.
There are analysts...
Well, let me just respond to that before we continue. It's very logical. It's a rules-based international order. What he doesn't say is that we make the rules. See, we rewrite them whenever we want to. Then it's rules. See, that's how it goes.
There are analysts who doubt Russia would ever invade Ukraine because they say essentially President Putin is getting everything he wants without an actual invasion.
Without a doubt. We heard an analyst in Moscow say days ago that he never believed Putin intended to invade, and he has forced the West to think about Russian concerns. He's getting a stream of foreign visitors, and he's going to be on the phone this weekend, apparently, with President Biden. But the concern by the senior U.S. military official is that Putin may be close to a historic mistake. His troops could invade Ukraine easily, which makes it tempting, although they could have a lot of trouble getting out.
Can I play the clip about the phone call this weekend?
Yeah, sure.
The White House says that call between two world leaders didn't produce any major breakthroughs. And a senior ranking official tells us they're still not sure whether or not Vladimir Putin has made the decision to invade. But early this morning, the State Department pulled most of its diplomats out of the embassy in Kyiv, just in case.
Kyiv.
During the hour-long conversation, the White House says President Biden urged President Putin to engage in de-escalation and diplomacy. But the time for diplomacy is running thin. Traveling in Fiji, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken...
Excuse me. That is not the correct use. The time is running short, running out. Is thin ever a way of time?
Good catch.
Escalation and diplomacy. But the time for diplomacy is running thin. Traveling in Fiji, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said the U.S. still has not received a written response to its security proposals.
We're in the window when a Russian invasion could start
in the window.
And Russia now has 80% of the troops it would need to invade positioned along Ukraine's borders.
Any American in Ukraine should leave as soon as possible, and in any event, in the next 24 to 48 hours.
About 7,000 Americans in Ukraine have registered with the State Department. But National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said yesterday anyone who stays should not expect a U.S. military rescue.
The president will not be putting the lives of our men and women in uniform at risk by sending them into a war zone.
3,000 U.S. troops, however, are headed to join units already positioned in Poland and Romania, with 8,200 on standby to back up other NATO allies, in case Putin's territorial aspirations expand beyond Ukraine.
What is Blinken's role again? What is he? Is he the...
he's the Secretary of State. He's the guy.
You know, when and a producer made this observation to me, when you see a story or a picture with the caption, it'll be A. Blinken underneath his name. Now, if you look at that and you pronounce it, what do you get?
Abe Lincoln.
Uh-huh. Did you hear it? Abe Lincoln.
What?
Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln.
Abe
Yeah.
Lincoln. Abraham
That's
Lincoln.
what I said,
Abe
Lincoln.
Lincoln. Do you think that's intentional?
I don't know.
I like
maybe.
it. I like Abe Lincoln. Holy
It's
crap.
like the guys who you call the Super Bowl Sunday the Superb Owl Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Another way to do it. Abe Lincoln. All right. Did you hear or read from the Russian ambassador to Sweden, what he said published in a Swedish newspaper?
I did not.
I have a translation. Moscow doesn't give a shit about the risk, quote, doesn't give a shit about the risk of Western sanctions if it were to invade Ukraine, Russia's outspoken ambassador to Sweden told a Swedish newspaper. Excuse my language, but we don't give a shit about their sanctions. We have already had so many sanctions, and in that sense, they've had a positive effect on our economy and agriculture.
There's actually some truth to what he just said at the end.
Of course.
Because
This
now
is the joke.
the products they used to sell, now they sell Russian cheese and Russian butter and Russian. They used to bring it all in from France and around from Europe. A lot of these dairy products, and now the Russians are just,
had you read that? Because he literally said about the cheese. He literally made that cheese example.
Yeah, I know about it. I didn't read it. No,
but does he have plant-based cheese balls? Huh?
He doesn't have the cheese
I don't
balls.
think he's got cheese balls. No cheese balls for you.
Now, I've got some other clips from NPR that talk about how they're going to invade,
Yeah.
They really push it.
Yeah, let's do it. I love it. It's hilarious.
We can play these, but we don't want to miss on the Russian analysis clips, because when this guy comes on, he just pulls the plug on everything. But let's start with Russia to attack.
Ooh, is that Russia to attack? Oh, NPR, I love you.
President Biden spoke with Vladimir Putin today. He once more warned the Russian leader against invading Ukraine. The president and other NATO members have been trying to keep talks going, while also preparing for a possible military conflict. After the hour-long phone call, the White House said that President Biden made it clear the U.S. and its allies would respond decisively and impose swift and severe costs on Russia if it goes ahead with an invasion. NPR White House correspondent Franco Ordonez joins us. Franco, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
The first call between these leaders, we're told, since December 30th. What more do we know about what they talked about?
It was just over an hour-long call that a senior administration official told reporters was professional and substantive. Biden told Putin that a Russian invasion would, quote, produce widespread human suffering and diminish Russia's standing. That's according to a readout of the call. He also told Putin that the United States remains prepared to engage in diplomacy, but it's also prepared for, quote, other scenarios. I was on a call with a senior administration official after, and he told reporters that there was no fundamental change in the dynamics of the situation, but that they believe the president has put some ideas on the table that would address Russia's concerns. And he said the two presidents agreed to have their teams to continue to talk and engage in the days ahead, but that Russia may decide to proceed with military action anyway.
Yeah.
How certain are administration officials about the imminence of war?
You know, the White House and State Department are laying out in really the starkest terms yet, their fear is that the Russian military could take action in a matter of days. Oh. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan yesterday said the Russian military is ready to move on Ukraine now. And Americans who are there really need to get out.
Liars.
He described what an invasion could actually look like.
It could be more limited. It could be more expansive. But there are very real possibilities that it will involve the seizure of a significant amount of territory in Ukraine and the seizure of major cities, including the capital city.
At the same time, the United States is reducing the size of its embassy footprint in Kyiv, and the Pentagon announced that 160 National Guard troops from Florida will be pulled out of Ukraine. To be clear, the administration is not saying it will definitely happen, but, a senior State Department official said today that, quote, it appears increasingly likely that that is where the situation is headed.
Hey, you know what? I think we should move on to the Russian analysis, because this is just going to raise my blood pressure if I hear any more of this bull crap. And I'm sure it's all the same thing.
Yeah. I don't remember what this part 2 is, but it's not any different. Let's go to the analysis. Now, this is, I think, the best analysis I've heard. And it really deflated the guy who was doing it. This is Russia analysis good one.
We just heard how U.S. officials assess what a Russian invasion could look like, but are Russian threats to invade part of a strategy? We're joined now by Harun Yilmaz. He's an academic editor with Routledge. His research focuses on Ukraine and Central Asia, and he joins us from London. Thanks so much for being with us.
Okay. First of all, spook. This whole op has been set up by MI6.
This would be an MI6 guy.
Yeah, total spook from a research agency.
But he has the. It seems somebody's not on board with whatever the crap we're pulling from the State Department, which I don't even think is condoned by the CIA. But listen to this. This is good.
And he joins us from London. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
You wrote an op-ed for Al Jazeera this week, essentially expressing skepticism that Russia is going to invade.
Oh, no.
Tell us why.
A closer examination of Russia's geopolitical behavior in the past 2 decades demonstrates that they actually has a clear understanding of the risks on the ground, and a full invasion does not fit into Moscow's cost-benefit calculus, because they usually pursue a cost-efficient policy when it comes to the use of hard power in geopolitical goals.
You believe that we have seen this before in the past few years in other places.
That's true. For instance, we have seen it in 2008 in Georgia war, which Russia intervened on the side of the separatist forces in the breakaway regions of South Ossetia and Abkhazia against the Georgian government. And back then, Russian forces did not really face a formidable adversary and were able to easily defeat the Georgian forces. Then Russian troops crossed into Georgia proper, but then halted after 20 kilometers. Once the limited goal of pushing back Georgian forces from South Ossetia was achieved, Moscow was open to European mediation. In fact, the Russian troops could have completely cut Georgia into 2, gain control of the precious oil and gas pipelines from Azerbaijan to Mediterranean coast, and paralyze the Georgian economy and political system. Yet the regional and global costs would be too high for Russia, so they stopped at a limited military operation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's bullshit.
It's total bullshit. And the thing is, this guy emphasizes that this Russian, the way they were operating now, it's cost-benefit analysis.
And this is on NPR, right?
Yeah. And what you run, I think they were disappointed.
You think?
This cost-benefit analysis thing is interesting because the way all these guys, all the networks and even the newspapers have been portraying, you don't know what the Russians are going to do. They don't think right. They got the crazy Russians thinking. They don't understand the way we are or the way we think or the way anybody thinks. They're nuts. And
you know what the bottom line? Our Oracle has been right all along about this Ukraine and Russia thing.
There's no real conflict.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to part 2 of the analysis. And by the way, it was the part of Georgia that came in, they pushed these guys back and left, and that was it. But let's go on.
We see again this cost calculus and a cost-efficient policy in Syria, also in African affairs. So we constantly seek this cost-efficient policy, cost-efficient use of hard power in geopolitics. And we see it in Ukraine as well so far.
Well, tell us how. What are Russian aims as regards Ukraine in your judgment?
The real target is not Ukraine, but Moscow wants to force Western countries to finally sit down for negotiations on issues of European security. Mm-hmm. Because since 1991, this is the first time the West has engaged seriously with Russia to discuss European security, thanks in a way to the strategy that they are pursuing. And Moscow wants arrangements to be made on several issues, but these are European security matters, including halting the development of intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Europe and limiting military exercises in close proximity to Russian borders. Because if you go back a little bit, in October 2018, the Trump administration decided to withdraw from the 1987 intermediate-range nuclear forces treaty, which was signed by Reagan and Gorbachev. Mm-hmm. And that treaty prohibited both parties from possessing, producing, or flight testing intermediate range nuclear forces. Now we don't have that agreement. So in other words, Moscow, they understand that Ukraine will not enter NATO, and that's not the issue. In fact, the issue is if NATO enters Ukraine in the form of American missiles or missile defense elements. Mm-hmm. That's without any international regulations that limits missile deployments in Europe.
Okay. I have an analysis of what's going on. And this guy actually helped me get there. So he says what they really want is to sit down and talk about, European security. What the hell are you guys doing? Where we stand? I mean, that's in a nutshell, that's kind of what he said, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now, again, we're seeing this incessant push from the U.S. MDM, the mis-dis malinformation, MDM. Including Fox News. Everyone's all jacked up. Oh, Putin, he's going to do it. He's going to invade. It's imminent. He already gave the go order. 72 hours. We can't wait. Stressful time. Okay. So now, is this truly to give the military industrial complex some credits and some orders? Yeah, I'm sure. Something even Fox News doesn't discuss. You'd think that someone would say, hey, are they protecting Hunter Biden's interests in Ukraine? I mean, that's something even we could come up with as is that why you're going, Joe? Because of the hundreds of millions of dollars or gosh knows or whatever the Biden crime family's involvement was in Ukraine? I haven't heard anyone talk about that. But how about this? What if we need to make this such a huge issue that the only way that we can get out of this is to send Kamala Harris to the Munich Security Conference at the end of this week so that she can then sit down with the Russians and declare victory, having stopped the invasion. She's good to be president. Think about it.
Are they going to send her?
Yes. She's dispatched to the Munich conference to talk Ukraine. End of this week. Now,
that's a pretty sideways analysis. I like it.
Why side? The whole Jussie Smollett.
It's so convoluted. Because if the whole thing's just a bunch of BS, which it sounds like to me, and then you're going to create this phony event that's not going to really do anything, but you're doing it just to extol the virtues of this dumb woman.
I will tell you why I think that.
Because they want to get rid of Biden because he's losing
They have to get rid of him, and they need a replacement. They don't want Hillary, of course. They need to strengthen Kamala. And I think it's possible because Mo and I actually deconstructed the whole Juicy Smollett thing. That was so big. That thing really, truly, the noose, all of that was a setup to boost Kamala Harris when she was running for president. And I think Mo's right with that analysis. So to get out of this Biden problem we have, wouldn't it just, I mean, why is she going to the Munich conference? She's an imbecile. And she's and specifically says she's being dispatched. She's being sent. I have a feeling she's going to come out of this the victor, having stopped Putin dead in his tracks. This black woman is amazing.
Well, actually, I hope you're not right. But we'll see.
Well,
it's going to resolve itself by after the 21st when the Olympics are closed.
Yes.
We know for a fact, because of the nature of the geopolitics, nothing's going to happen until the 21st. And then if you listen to this analysis, nothing's going to happen. The whole thing is, and it it could have been a scheme by Putin to bring people to the table. It seems to be working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we'll see. It's however the media spins it. It doesn't matter. The media is spinning a brink of war that's not true. So why wouldn't they spin the savior Kamala that isn't true? And then Putin can jump up and down all he wants and say, it's not true, niet. And let's say, that's Putin, man. That's just what he does. Thank you, Kamala. For those of you who are wondering why I said this black woman, obviously I was being facetious. Lou. So
what difference does it make? She's black, isn't she?
Yeah,
or
you know what you know what we're
this
talking
half
about.
Black woman.
You know what we're talking about. You know the issue. So
well,
I kind of like it.
So something's, it is a I would call fraud a fiasco. It's a fiasco.
Huge fiasco. Okay, let's take a little breather for a second. I have some hat information. We were talking about hats, men with hats.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah. So I said, why did hats go out of fashion? I just need to talk about something else. It's just too stressful. I have blood pressure, and as you know, it can give me a heart attack instantly.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Marie says, my husband mentioned you guys were talking about why or when hats went out of fashion. Apparently, at his inauguration...
And you said apparently.
I did. At his inauguration, President Kennedy did not wear a hat. And that was the start of people not wearing hats anymore. Does that sound right to you?
No, it doesn't sound right to me. I don't think the timeline's correct.
Okay.
The number of people that were wearing hats in the teens and 20s was outrageous. I mean, if you look at those old photos, it was just wall-to-wall hats.
Yes.
And usually one style. It was fedoras for a while, then it became these straw hats.
I have information on the straw hats, too.
And I think they were out of vogue after World War II, long before Kennedy became president.
The straw hats went out of style in 1922 because of the Straw Hat Riot. Yes.
This I did not know. This would be interesting.
The Straw Hat Riot of 1922 occurred in New York City at the end of the summer as a result of unwritten rules in men's fashion at the time. At the time, a tradition of taunting people who failed to stop wearing straw hats after autumn began. So
it's kind of like the wearing linen.
Yes. And of course, the people who could afford a straw hat were poor workers. And so the fedora wearers, this is the same thing we're seeing today. The elites hate the working middle class, and they would literally grab people's straw hats and smash them and burn them right off their head. It was tradition, they say.
Who's they?
The Wikipedia.
Oh.
Hello. Who else matters when it comes to that kind of stuff? Of course. Absolutely. I think we should... do you want to do one more story before we take a break?
Yeah, I can do a Super Bowl story from NPR because it's...
Jeez, man. Enough on NPR. Gosh, okay, Super Bowl from NPR. The way it's just these voices are getting tedious.
Yeah, well, that would be the last.
Okay. Super Bowl not tolerated?
No, NPR Super Bowl report.
Hey, here we go.
LA Sheriff Special Operations Chief Jack Ewell says 400 people from his agency are working the game.
Human trafficking specialists, crowd management specialists, hazmat personnel,
Human trafficking specialist? What?
Yeah.
Let's start
Super Bowl game. Big game.
Well, that's, of course, all the hookers. Let's start it over.
LA Sheriff Special Operations Chief Jack Ewell says 400 people from his agency are working the game.
Human trafficking specialists, crowd management specialists, hazmat personnel, tactical teams, tactical paramedics, and canine units.
They'll team with Inglewood and Los Angeles Police, the Secret Service, Homeland Security, and others. Back at Casa Rios restaurant in Inglewood, Libby Munoz admits to feeling a little pressure too.
Yo sí me siento nerviosa, como con poco de presión porque
Yes, I do feel a bit nervous. We're working so hard in the kitchen to get ready. We have to make sure we have enough servers so that people won't come in and then leave because we can serve them.
Sentiment shared by much of Southern California, hoping Sunday will be the first of many Super Bowls at SoFi Stadium. For NPR News, I'm Matt D'Angelo Antonio in Inglewood, California.
Do these guys know anything? What do you mean, one of many Super Bowl? They're not going to have the Super Bowl in this place again for another 10 years, maybe 20. They rotated through the various stadiums around the country. A new stadium gets built, they put a Super Bowl there sooner than later, but it won't be back. Were they kidding? Oh, we're looking forward to it being back every year. It's not going to be back every year. If it comes back in 5 years, it's a miracle.
You know why it's not going to be back, don't you? Because it's going to burn down in the riots.
Well, you might want to play this clip. Super Bowl not tolerated.
You blocked my donation.
Yeah, I know I did to get this clip out of the way.
The 56th Super Bowl kicks off tomorrow in Los Angeles, and the Department of Homeland Security says it's preparing for the potential of protests inspired by the trucker blockades happening in Canada. Authorities say that such disruptions will not be tolerated.
They will not be tolerated.
We will not tolerate this event. Yeah.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah,
oh, No Agenda in the morning. Yeah, we have a few people to thank, and they tolerate our show.
They do.
Yeah, starting with Lydia, lovely Lydia Terry Dominelli. $133. She wants a little health cover for everybody. We'll give her that at the end. Teresa Muhik, $100, $103.33. And she says she loves the program and says no jingles. Yeah, well, you know. Anonymous, Dazzell, South Carolina, 100. Sir Smitty, the Burning River Coastie in North Royalton, Ohio. I got a birthday, 99.99. Sir Jake the Snake of Bitter Lake in Seattle, Washington, 8008. That's a boob donation. He says, happy Valentine's Day to a blistering, bodacious, what does it say here? Blistering, bodacious, buxom bride.
Mm-hmm.
R.O. Stowe. Rosto. Thomas Gould in Palm Harbor, Florida. Also comes in with a boobs donation with a shout out to Kyra. It's a boob call out to JCD for not mentioning salty slaves.
Uh-oh.
And then what? Sir Kevin McLaughlin, the Duke of Luna, lover of America and lover of boobs in Concord, North Carolina, 8008.
And
Christopher.
He has a little marketing tip for us. He has a new slogan for breast cancer awareness. I stare because I care. He is the boob man.
Christopher Dechter, 5678. Ivan Babik in Astoria, New York, 51. Connor Hogan, 5005 in Monroe, North Carolina. And he'd be wishing his beautiful wife, Amy, a happy 27th. Following people now are $50 donors, name and location. Brendan Savoy, Port Orchard, Washington. Fabio Alves in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. Dame Patricia Worthington in Miami, Florida. Philip Kim in San Francisco, California, followed by Gavin McGoldrick, also in San Francisco, California. Jonathan Ferris in Liberal, Kansas. Jim Tucker, National Park, New Jersey. Dame Kimberly Redmond in Toronto, Ontario. Daryl DeVille in Newton, Mississippi. Wayne Morrell in Orlando, Florida. Joseph Kulichi, in parts unknown. Christopher Adamek in Deutschland somewhere. Just give me some karma. Get you some at the end there. Alexis Robles in Chula Vista, California. Michael Wendell in Matawan, New Jersey. Sir George Wuchat, and I think he's in Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. And last but not least, Baronettes Knight in Edmonds, Washington, formerly Dame Knight. $50 for all these people. We thank each and every one of them for contributing and keeping the show going.
And we thank not only them, but people coming in under $50, which you don't mention any credit on the show because those are typically for anonymity. And many of them are sustaining donations, which is our subscriptions that we hope you take advantage of. Again, thanks to the execs and associate execs. And if you'd like to support us for Thursday's show, go here.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Karma for everybody who needs it.
You've got karma.
Here's your birthday list. Sir Smitty, the Burning River Coastie. Happy birthday to his mother, Patricia Ann Smith. She will be 80. No, she turned 80 yesterday. Well, happy birthday. Thomas Gold, the Red Rider. Happy birthday to Kira Boob, celebrating today. Connor Hogan, his beautiful wife Ashley, turns 27 today. David Gio, 53 on Valentine's Day. And wrapping it up with Dame Christina Pearl, who says happy birthday to her Mr. Henry. Happy birthday for everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. And let me see now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 1, 2, 3. We have one Dame. Is that right? Yeah, one Dame. And I want to make sure. I think we did. I'm sorry. I'm a little confused here. Michael Hayner is the one who was already knighted, right? That's the one I have to make sure is taken off. Okay, I need a blade. I got this blade. Do you have a blade for us?
Yes, I do. I've got the long blade.
Woo! Very long. That's what she said. Up on the podium. Hey, Max. Bring your mom up here. Max's mom is ready for her Damon. John Wynn and Joseph Liesel, I think is how we pronounce it. You are all Knights and Dame of the No Agenda Roundtable after I pronouncticate you officially as Dame of the Hill People, Sir Hold My Beer, and Sir Dino, Knight of the Sandy Parks. For you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, IPA and ginormous beef ribs, beer and blunts, Reuben S. Women and Rosé, vodka and vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escorts, ginger ale and gerbils, breast milk and pablum, and yes, there's always some mutton and mead. So get your butt over to noagendanation.com/rings. Oh, I'm sorry. After you're done consuming, obviously, let us know exactly what ring size you want, where we can send it to. We got the sealing wax, the official certification of authenticity signed by both John and myself. And thank you again for supporting the No Agenda Show, the best podcast in the universe.
No Agenda Meetup.
Like a party, and it's going to be a big party this coming week. Of course, we know I'm not going to be in Nashville, which is really unfortunate. Before we get to the list, here's our Seoul meetup report, the TMI evac zone.
Adam and John, thank you for your courage from the 3 Mile Island evac zone meetup. This is Sir 737 coming to you from the west bank of the Susquehanna River, just downstream from 3 Mile Island, well within the evacuation zone. Here's our audio meetup report, just a little bit different this time. We needed a teleprompter.
But resist we must. We resist and we will mush about that. be committed.
Fear is freedom. Subjugation is liberation.
Contradiction is truth.
Those are the facts of this world, and you all surrender to them.
You pigs in human clothing!
Please join us at our next meetup on Saturday, February 19th at Crosswater.
Outstanding. Somehow the beauty of the hack job makes it that much better. Susquehanna Valley. Hey, I wonder, is WSQV still around? WSQV, Top 40, Susquehanna Valley, Pennsylvania. Let me know. I've been to that station. Here's what's coming up. As we know, the big Nashville, Tennessee meetup on Monday, Valentine's Day. It's the skating meetup of love at 6 o'clock. It kicks off at Rivergate Skate Central in Madison, Tennessee. The Duke of the South organizing. Now, what we have set up is since, and believe me, if I wasn't testing positive, it had been enough days, I would go, of course. We're going to connect my studio to the DJ booth, and I will be playing a couple of skating songs for you live from the Hill Country.
How about a visual there? How about a big monitor in your head?
Yeah, that's both. So not only the visual, you got to stop that thing. It's irritating me now.
Okay.
Because I can't focus. We're going to have a visual, and we'll have high-quality line going. We're going to use Clean Feed, so pretty high quality. And I will be rolling out.
You can't do video on Clean Feed.
Have you ever hear of two separate things at the same time?
No.
Okay. Well, that's what we're going to do. And quite honestly, the video is less important, I think. I mean, I can just imagine how cool it's going to sound booming across the skating rink. Sorry I can't be there. The keeper and I truly send our regrets. Next show day is, Thursday. And here, there's a lot of meetups on the 17th. The Mississippi Coast meetup at 4 at Long Beach Market and Deli in Long Beach, Missouri. The Michigan February meetup at 4 o'clock at the Texas Roadhouse, Fort Gratiot, Michigan. Someone please tell me how to pronounce that. The Catskill Mountain meetup also on Thursday. It's number 2. It'll be at 6 o'clock at Public House in Ellenville, New York. The Sacramento El Dorado County meetup, 6:30 at Solid Ground Brewing in Diamond Springs, California. The Denver area Metaverse meetup, 6:30 Mountain Time at Prost Brewing, Highlands Ranch, Colorado. My goodness, Charlotte's third Thursday, 7 o'clock at Ed's Tavern. And then Friday is where the Western stimulation begins, 6 o'clock. That meetup is at Flips Patio Grill in Fort Worth, Texas. And we are stacked all the way through March. If you want to take a look, go to noagendameetups.com. Even if you're disappointed that we won't be there, please go to the Tennessee meetup. It's not about really meeting me, I hope. It's really about getting together with your community, other human resources, and having a fun time skating. If you can't find one near you, go ahead and set one up. It's easy. NoAgendaMeetups.com.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same.
We begin with a glitch that's...
Oops. I'm happy that a clip was found of this story because I've been waiting to talk about it briefly, just because it's an OTG kind of story, but then ABC luckily turned it into a glitch for me.
We begin with a glitch that's forcing some drivers to listen to National Public Radio.
It's happening in the Seattle area for people driving Mazdas. So the issue is the radios in certain vehicles have been frozen on one station, the local NPR, because the infotainment screens are stuck in reboot mode.
Now to fix it, they may need a new part, which costs $1,500.
I guess I'd be listening to NPR.
Yes, on
$1,500.
Now this is a very interesting thing. Did you hear about this? Mazdas are stuck.
News to me.
Yeah, Mazdas are stuck on the NPR station, and you hear this report doesn't tell you why. They just say, "Oh, you got to get a $1,500 part to fix it." Nah, what's going on is this NPR station. They are not complying to the standard of RDS. RDS is the system that lets you send along images and text with either songs or programs. and they're not sending an image. They're sending the tag for an image, but there's no image in it. And of course, Mazda was never expecting that, because why would you say here's an image if there's nothing linked to it? And so all they'd have to do is just change that, and the radios would probably fix themselves, and they should just adhere to the standard. And so to call it a glitch, again, ABC. These are the top people in their field. How hard is it to just do a little bit of investigative work instead of, I guess I'll be listening to NPR. Hey, tune into our show if you want to hear NPR. We give you the best. You can skip the whole week of crap, and we give you the highlights that are worth listening to.
So I have a story about your neck of the woods. This is the water story.
Yes. The
water in Austin being boiled.
The head of the public utility that supplies water to more than 1 million residents in Austin, Texas, has resigned. It comes days after the utility required residents to boil their water before drinking it. Audrey McGlinchey with member station KUT reports it was workers at the utility who had endangered the city's water.
In his resignation letter, Greg Miscellaneous said he took, quote, full responsibility for any shortcomings at Austin Water in the past week. Last Saturday, several employees made a mistake, adding too much calcium carbonate to a basin, causing the water at Austin's oldest treatment plant to cloud with debris. The utility told residents to boil any water before drinking or cooking. That requirement remained in place until Tuesday. Austin Water has placed 3 employees on leave while it investigates what happened. After 3 boil water notices in 4 years, Miscellaneous said residents have lost trust in Austin's public water company.
Thank you for playing this.
So I had to look into this. Because what's the calcium carbonate got to do with the price of bread, the way I saw it?
What is calcium carbonate?
It's just a salt. I mean, it's like...
like water softener? Like water softener salt?
It is actually a water softener. That's a very good guess.
Yeah, well, we have that for our well water. We have pellets of... I guess that's what it is.
Calcium carbonate is used to soften water. It's also used as a coagulant or a flocculant or whatever you want to call it to take certain dissolved solids and make them fall out of the water. Now, I don't know how it would cause debris.
Yeah.
I could not find any. I looked at all these different systems that use calcium carbonate, and they've used too much. I couldn't. Some of these in other words, unless somebody out there works at one of these plants that can tell me, I find this story to be very dubious.
Yes. Moreover, the residents of Austin, when I was a resident of Austin, voted on and approved in, this was 2019, a $500 million payment for the upgrade of the water treatment plant. $500 million. So, I hate to say it, but you're going to see this kind of stuff is going to happen more often in these cities. And they have no idea.
It sounds to me that there's some money lost or something fishy if there's that much money involved.
Yeah. But they spend 500. This is their favorite number. 500 million. Oh, we need to fix the water because this is our 3rd boil notice, I think. And as an aside, which we don't discuss, and of course that clip doesn't discuss, it closes business when this happens. You can't have a restaurant if you have to boil water. It closes business. All the coffee shops, snack bar, everything's closed because they can't make it work if you're boiling water. And so it's an economic hit. And in Austin, everything is $500 million. We got some homeless, $500 million. Let's build some hotels for them. Woo! It's a shit city. Sorry to say it. It's going to crap, and you've built your own prison, Austin. Enjoy it when stuff falls apart and doesn't work. And then here's the best. Where is it here? There's a new narrative about the big freeze we had last year. Of course, we know what really happened. I mean, the big freeze was not because windmills froze or anything like that. No, it was Enron type practices going on at ERCOT, which is the energy exchange for the Texas grid, and that's just the truth. And we've done a lot of analysis of that. And these people never went away. And it's never discussed exactly how that works. They can't even, I don't think the people even understand, the people who are supposed to know won't even understand. But now the new narrative, and this is hilarious. Research has determined that rooftop solar could have prevented the Texas Big Freeze power outage because there would have been enough electricity to meet the shortfall on all but 2 of the 13 days when the power production fell short.
Wasn't it overcast?
Overcast? It was a snow and ice storm. Not a single panel would have worked, you dopes.
Jeez.
Unbelievable.
Well, I'm irked by the fact that the media keeps parroting this bull crap.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting on my nerves.
Yes, of course it is.
ISOs.
Yes. I'll go first. I don't know if I have anything good. Let me see. I have, wait a minute. I'm missing an ISO here. Okay, here's what I have. I don't have that much. I got this.
Be prepared to get decked in the mouth.
Too long.
People just say like totally wild things.
Kind of. You're not blown away by that one either.
Yikes.
How about this one? Here we go.
Ooh, smooth.
That's cute. Kind of like one we had. Okay, let's go with my 3.
Okay.
ISO Moxie.
Pep, Verve, Moxie.
Whoa.
Pep, Verve, Moxie.
I like it. Where's this from? What is it? That's NPR guy, right?
Pep, Verve, Moxie.
What is it? What is that Pep, Verve, Moxie? What does that mean?
It's about, they did a really long report on Moxie, the soft drink from Maine.
Oh, a native ad.
No, because no one can buy it. That was the story. It was not available.
Oh,
because for some reason. Okay, well that sounds good.
I like.
Let's try no.
Ooh, all right.
No.
Ah, man, you're gonna make me edit.
I'm telling you, that was not on there.
No good.
Okay, Wimpy.
We're not wimpy.
Yeah, I kind of like the Moxie the best, honestly.
Yeah, I like the Moxie the best too. We're not wimpy would have been probably better if it wasn't up-talked. We're not wimpy.
We're not wimpy. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I guess this is the one other story that we should bring up, just because it's such a deja vu in a way, and it's intentional.
We have a situation where we're looking very strongly at sinks and showers and other elements of bathrooms. People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once.
Here's the thing. I don't really care why Donald Trump was obsessed with toilets. To be perfectly honest, I don't really want to know why or where he got involved in discussions about having to flush toilets 15 times. Unfortunately, though, the former president's bizarre predilection for toilets is, in fact, in the news today. And as a serious journalist, it is my duty to tell you about it. According to the New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman, when Donald Trump was president, his staff used to periodically find wads of printed paper clogging the White House toilets. They believed President Trump was purposely attempting to flush pieces of paper down the toilet. The former president immediately poo-pooed these ideas, saying that he never put presidential records in a toilet, which is definitely a thing I cannot believe that I just said on TV.
Oh, my, the things you do say on TV are a lot more offensive, Velshi.
So this stems from, they're trying to cover for the fact that they,
the Clintons spied on the Trump administration? Is that what they're trying to cover for?
No.
Oh.
They're trying to cut. Maggie Haberman came out with a book, and she makes the assertion that as part of a bigger scheme and they're trying to, guys like Raskin are trying to throw the book at Trump for taking papers to Mar-a-Lago that were all considered classified.
Yeah, and ripping them up even. That's also an offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the book, or in one of the things, something she said, and I think that's where they quoted from, it was said that he was also flushing confidential documents because of the Presidential Records Act. You have to keep everything. And so they're trying to arrest him. They're literally trying to arrest him for doing
great. This is the best.
And so this thing came up, and they threw it in there when somebody came up and said, well, he took stuff to Mar-a-Lago. By the way, it's all been returned. He's taking stuff out of the White House. He took it to Mar-a-Lago as classified documents from being moved around, and he was tearing them up, and then he was flushing them down the toilet. And by saying flushing him down the toilet, it brought up a bunch of people coming out of the woodwork saying, how can you can't flush paper down the toilet. I mean, if you crump up a piece of paper, try it yourself. Take a piece of 8 by 10, 8.5 by 11, and crunch it up and throw it in the toilet and try to flush it down. It was just a mess.
That depends.
But now,
if you have the Power Mate Flush 2000, I think it might suck it down. But that's neither here nor there.
I don't think the White House has that toilet.
Probably not.
But whatever the case, it's bull crap, and it's just so that now they're covering their ass because everyone pointed this out, and so that's why that report came out. Because as a journalist, I have to report on this. There's no evidence. Nobody said anything. Somebody. It's just disgusting.
It's also hilarious.
This Helberman woman, she's out of control.
It's funny to see Hill Dog coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, I guess everyone cleans stuff up." Huh? Of course, she had the bleach bit server, and it's so insulting. And ripping up papers? You mean like Nancy Pelosi did at the State of the Union? I mean, there's all these. It's just, and the political parties and the media are so crazy that now the Republicans are bringing back the Convention of States. Do you remember this when the Democrats were going to do that during Trump? We're going to make an amendment to the Constitution to the Convention of States.
Yeah, I remember this.
And so now the Republicans are doing it. It's like people, all of you politicians, get a clue. Get a clue. We're on to you.
Get a clue. Look at the 25th Amendment. How come that's not brought up constantly by the Republicans, like the Democrats did with Trump?
Yeah, because
nobody brings it up.
Nah, because they're douches. They're all douches.
No.
Yeah. Well, now that we've established they're all douches, we can get out of here. Have a great Valentine's Day, everybody. Especially everyone at the romantic skate of love in Nashville, Tennessee. I am a little tired. And that means that I'll be well rested for the next episode, which we bring to you on Thursday, when I'm sure we will be deconstructing the non-war and Kamala's ascent. We shall see. We have end-of-show mixes, Toby Langford. Also, as promised, the Ants song, Bill Walsh in full. It's about time we played that one again. And coming up live next on NoAgendaStream.com. If you're in the troll room, you can stay there. It's Hog Story Live. And coming to you from the heart of the Texas Hill Country here in FEMA Region number 6. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I remain, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return right here on Thursday. Until then, good day and adios, mofos, and such.
I'd like to see you do that, Joe Rogan.
I want to show all kinds of opinions.
Now, listen here, Sonny Jim. You're not only making people not trust you, you're making them not trust me. I'd like to see you do that, Joe Rogan. Yes, there should be a war.
Which sounds great, but not all opinions are created equal.
I want to show all kinds of opinions.
I'd like to see you do that, Joe Rogan.
You think about major newsrooms like CNN that have health departments and desks and operations that work hard on verified information on COVID-19. And then you have talk show stars like Joe Rogan.
Yes, there should be a war. There should be a war.
I want to show all kinds of opinions. All kinds of opinions. All kinds of opinions.
got ants. I got ants. I don't know if we had ants. We had ant invasion. I was thinking if you desiccated a big pile of ants and then ground them to a powder like a fine grind black pepper, we were having dinner and I got an ant somehow in the meal and I ate it. These things are peppery. I got ants. I got ants. These ants, they don't need a lot. And then you find all the ones that are roaming around. I backed them off by doing the burning trick. You just torch them. And you leave them there. The only ant, there are occasional moments where there's an ant that you do not torch, and that's an ant that's carrying one of the dead ants back. I got ants. I got ants. I got ants. I got ants. 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 Ants.
Oh, they're not that bad.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Pep, Verve, Moxie.